And welcome everybody to another exciting edition of Breakfast with Roger and Friends. And that includes the lovely Terry Chamberlain. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning.
Dr. Gene Sidler. Good morning, Gene.
Good morning.
Yeah, okay, all right. And who's over here? Oh, well, another Terry.
Right, another
Terry Grawley.
Good morning, Terry. Good morning, Gene. Good morning, Captain.
Morning.
You know, I had someone ask me this week, when you say, here's Terry, do they know which one you're referring to? And I said, yes.
Do we? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, you're pretty quick out of the draw there. Yeah, we know
sure.
right away.
Because we know where what part of the show that you're on, because we've always come to rehearsal.
And then there are those that say, why don't you have a rehearsal? I said, no, we fly by the seat of our pants. That's for sure.
I have a question for Terry.
Yes.
G.
Yeah, G.
Is your decision-making factor for which pair of glasses you pick for the day?
Yeah, you know what?
I only have one.
No,
I always wear the same because it's
I always wear the same.
Yeah, it's
Oh, you do? I thought you had a different color.
no. Kyle's the one that has
Kyle,
that
I know, has
umpteen
several.
Yeah,
glass
no,
one.
Kyle's the weirdo, not me.
Okay, so
I always, that was for years now.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Usually with Kyle, you're both such good-looking guys.
Kyle's got a lot more hair than me. He looks a lot different than me.
He has more than most of us.
Yeah, but usually his glasses make him look like a clown. I mean, his glasses are
we could make
weird.
fun of him. He's probably not up yet.
Yeah. See, on mine, the nose stays on. You thought it was a whole unit.
They used to have those.
Oh, they still have
You'll have to get it there.
No, this is.
Now, are these from the optometrist or Dollar Tree?
No, they're from. Well, I bought them at. Wait a minute, Zini.com. It's online.
You get 10 pairs for $2.
Oh no, that's not super cheap, but it's a little bit. But they have a wide variety, and I do have a couple different colors.
I thought you did. I've seen him with different.
No, not in here. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't do that.
No, that's it.
On stage.
If I'm in costume. I used to be a Santa Claus. I used to be a Santa Claus. I didn't want to spoil
You're
that.
too skinny for us.
Well, a lot of padding.
Oh, okay.
But I did that for 20 years in the parade.
I didn't know that.
No,
Go back to the days when it was that black and cool.
No, I'm not that old. Jeez.
Well, I am. Even as a matter of fact,
I can't remember the first year.
One thing
I was 21 years old.
One thing I did discover is that there's a big difference in the quality of sunglasses. I've gotten some sunglasses at Dollar Tree, and the glasses are shaded, but I can't read the speedometer.
Right. Well, they have.
Because they're too shaded.
What's that? I'm at loss for words.
Polarized.
Or Polaroid's a camera, but polarized, yes. Polarized, there's a big difference between polarized sunglasses and I guess just regular tinted glass or plastic.
I know if you fish, you want a good quality sunglass because you have a better, you're able to better
polarized. You can see through the water.
Yes,
I think it's like X-ray vision or something that has to do with the
that reminds me. Have you seen or heard the controversy of the new version of Superman? It's all woke. He's an illegal immigrant, and
well, he's an immigrant, not.
What's
but
the difference?
The director came out and just ripped the critics and the audience for being intolerant, and I mean, nothing sells a movie better than ripping your country.
Yeah. I'll show them. I'll tell them don't go to the movie, and he's what 600 million, and hopefully it'll be a big flop. We don't do that to America's heroes, to kids growing up. Superman was a good guy.
Who is it? Who is the Superman?
Oh, it's some new guy.
Oh, it's not a big name.
No, you would not probably recognize the name.
Dave something.
Dave Kingman, I think he played for the.
No, it's a funny long name. David Cornsweet.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
David Cornsweet.
I've never heard of him.
Well,
what's he done before?
Great.
What's he done before that?
I'm not going to run to the movie to see him.
I can tell you, I would not know.
Is it the same
Yeah.
backstory? He came from Krypton and
Yeah,
crash landed
basically
in
the
this
same
foster
underlying
parents.
backstory.
Yeah. Okay. Huh.
He's known for a movie titled Pearl, We Own the City, The Politician, Look Both Ways. Not names. Not.
Any
He was
of
in
them?
the recent Twisters, the 2024 version of Twisters.
Well, I saw an old movie last night. I don't know when it came out. I never saw it before. A Star is Born.
Which version?
Well, the newest one with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the show.
It was okay.
It was a good show.
What's that, about the fourth version?
Oh,
of it?
at least.
Because
Really?
I guess Christopherson
And Barbara
version.
Streisand.
What
and
movie you're talking about?
With Judy.
Scar?
No, Star. A Star is
Star,
Born.
okay.
It's not about
And then
falling.
there was one even before that. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
I really enjoyed the movie. I think Lady Gaga was an incredible actress. I thought it was a very, very good show.
Yeah, she was good. I'm not a.
So you've all
Certainly.
seen that movie?
You're not a Gaga fan?
saw-
Really?
No, I'm not really a
No, I'm not
Lady
either.
Gaga fan, but
Really?
yeah,
I like
she was
her
very
music.
good in the
Yeah,
movie, and of
yeah.
course she's got a terrific voice.
Did she do a New Year's Eve bash on ABC or one of the networks?
Might
As
have.
a
Oh, I
co-host
think so, maybe.
I don't think she did a co-host, but she did a. I don't know. Maybe she did.
I don't know.
So
She did that duets with Tony Bennett. That was the big thing.
Oh, that's right. A couple years ago.
Yeah, she put an album out of classic songs with.
Oh, she's got a voice. She's an incredible voice.
you kind of like her, I can tell.
Well, she's.
How would you rate her with, let's say, Celine Dion?
I would say just as good, if not a little bit better, because Celine she had a certain genre, and this gal's all over the scale. I think.
I don't know what that meant.
I just made it up. No idea what it means.
Well, remind. I think we are on YouTube.
Are we on
We are on YouTube, but I'm noticing that there's only about a 5 or 6 second delay between our real time versus when
Started at 30
streams,
yeah.
and it's often more than that. Well, today it is. It's like a minute delay.
Well, they probably heard
Well,
yesterday's
that's
show.
us.
They heard yesterday's show.
We're a minute behind
Yeah.
things. At least
They wanted plenty of time to pull the switch. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Well, let's do what we do every morning: bring you the most comprehensive news on Peoria Radio. If it's news, we have it.
You got it right here.
And let's tell you that the news at the top of the hour brought to you by our good friend Bob Manning, Senior Vice President, Financial Advisor, is with the Grandview Capital Group at Morgan Stanley in Peoria. For all your investment needs, call Bob. And you can reach Bob Manning at 309-671-4653. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. With the weather, here's Terry.
Well, Roger, it's going to be sunny, and guess what? Back in the 90s today.
Oh, ouch.
Heat index about 101. Possible popcorn showers. I guess those will be grilled popcorn showers. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms, low 73. Tomorrow, high 86 with a good chance of showers and thunderstorms. Tomorrow night, more rain, low 68. Sunday, sunny, high 86. Monday, sunny and 91. Right now, Roger, it's 75 at the Wazoo.
Did you get any rain last night? Any of you?
Yeah,
Oh,
my-
yeah.
Roger,
Yeah.
it was wet this
I
morning.
did.
I thought we had some popcorn shop because I noticed on the highway on I-74 there were wet spots and then
really?
some dry spots.
It rained at around 1:30 to 2 a.m.
Were
too.
you
Yeah.
up?
You were up.
Yeah, well,
What are you doing up? You're not a doctor
what
anymore.
do old men have to get up for? Come on.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry.
So-
I forgot. I lost my head.
So no, I was just up momentarily, and there was lightning. There was lightning and
As
rain.
against when I'm up, it's not momentarily.
Well,
It takes a while to find
I
it.
mean, it's like I got up and cooked yesterday. I made a trip to the bathroom. I came
Okay.
went
Well,
back.
that's a bit because you said momentarily. That's a pretty quick trip. Good for you.
But yes, there was thunder and lightning. So that was.
Well, in the bathroom.
No, it was probably caught his attention.
But woke him up.
Yeah. Well, I did earlier in the evening. I did hear some thunder.
What?
And it wasn't in the bathroom.
No.
Anyway, let's
Oh, what you
talk
have to
about the
eat?
news. And it's brought to you by, and that is news. Kyle Varnold, as you know, he's Mr. Weather. He'll be with us in the studio around 8:15, 8:30 this morning, so stay tuned. He's also a professional in the insurance business, and he can give you some pretty good quotes. If you're interested in taking a look at your portfolio, no cost or expense or obligation, Kyle's available, and his phone number is 682-0519. Now let's get into the news with Terry Lynn.
The bad and dangerous illegals are getting closer to central Illinois. The Department of Homeland Security has announced officers have captured in Council Bluffs, Iowa, an El Salvadoran wanted for 5 murders. Another M13 gang member on the run for dealing drugs was apprehended in Omaha, Nebraska. "We're not grabbing people off the streets," said an officer. "We're after the worst of the worst."
In Peoria, 43-year-old Daniel Pace is going to prison for 60 years for beating and setting his girlfriend on fire. Prosecutors provided testimony of numerous incidences of horrific violence against the women in his life, but he was only charged with a single count of aggravated battery and aggravated domestic battery. That sent his current girlfriend to a local hospital for treatment of burns.
Attention homeowners with State Farm Insurance. You may want to start getting quotes from other companies because a Bloomington-based company has announced it's raising premiums. Effective Tuesday, July 15th, applicants for homeowners coverage will pay an increase of more than 27% over last year's rates. When that happens, it usually means it's had to pay some heavy losses. When they lose, so do you.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz appeared before the House Oversight Committee last month. Apparently, he was nervous about his appearance because he spent this is unbelievable, $430,000 in taxpayer money
Can you imagine
prepping
with
for
the
the
law firm? With the law firm,
Oh,
what was it? How much an hour?
well, it was $516 an hour to get him prepared for questions to this Oversight Committee.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Well,
it didn't work out, did
I
it?
don't think it
I
worked out
mean,
too good for him.
Two of Donald Trump's
Can't fix
favorite
stupid. Oh,
Two of Donald Trump's favorite personalities will face one another in a San Francisco courtroom. Can CNN host Don Lemon?
oh, it's a lemon. It's a lemon.
He is a lemon.
Don Lemon.
Did he add that French touch to it after he was in or on television? I thought in the beginning he was known as Don Lemon.
Yeah. Oh,
And then
he just going by Lemon now? I thought you made that up.
No.
No.
he wants to be known as Lemon because lemons are sour and so is he.
No.
The same thing is true with Stephen Colbert.
Yes,
He was
Colbert,
Stephen Colbert, and now he's Stephen Colbert.
Yes,
He
these people are.
changed the pronunciation of his last name to make it sound French, or I don't know why.
Thank you, Mr. Sidler. Sidler.
Being
Yeah.
trained person by Stephen
Dr.
Colbert.
Gene Sidley.
Yes.
Sidler.
See, now that's different than when I was in the Army. When they had mail call, they announced a mail call, manure. I said, that's Monroe. That's serious. He actually said, the guy did, said manure because somebody wrote on the outside Monore. Well, you would
Well,
probably say manure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of crap.
Anyway, he's suing Elon Musk because the billionaire hired him to be on his social media platform X and then fired him. Since no one likes Lemon, he started his own company and now appears on YouTube like Breakfast with Roger and Friends.
No one likes me either.
They said Trump's tariffs were going to ruin the economy, but so far that hasn't been the case. Far from it. Wall Street reports more records as the Dow hit 44,650 yesterday, up 192 points. NASDAQ also up 26 $4,830, and the S&P 500 closed at 62.80. Caterpillar was up $6.15 a share at 408.33, while John Deere jumped almost $10 a share,
Yeah,
ending
wow.
at 519.20.
$10 a share in one day.
Wow.
Protesters and rioters are permitted to wear masks in Massachusetts. But if a bill submitted by Democrat James Hawkins passes in the state legislature, law enforcement officers will not be able to wear the masks. They're called disguises by the liberal media. The movement comes after attacks on police officers and ICE agents in the country. Such a state ban becomes a challenge between federal and local law. Can state law supersede federal provisions?
That's a good question for Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah. Well, officials of the Heart of Illinois Fair are putting the finishing touches on this year's event at Expo Gardens. It all starts Tuesday with ribbon cutting ceremonies at 4 p.m., while once again a carnival will be missing. So no rides, I guess. Huh? There'll be other attractions for families throughout the balance of the week, such as a magic show, tractor pulls, motorsports, including the always popular demolition derby, a pie eating contest, and a lot more. I don't remember a pie eating contest.
Yeah, I think they've had them, have they not? I can't tell you.
Have you seen
I
one of
haven't
those?
been to a
No,
fair
I
in a
heard,
long
heard
time.
that they've had those the last
I know they judged the pies,
number
but
of
I never
years.
Yes, they
ate 'em.
did.
I didn't know they ate them then. Oh,
Hmm.
okay. The annual event ends Saturday night, and it may well be the final Heart of Illinois Fair that
Doesn't
began in
sound
what
good,
year? You guys, well, you guys all probably read the right? Gene, you didn't. What's
I have no. I guess 1947.
wow?
No, and
That's
I'm going to
close.
guess 1948.
How did you not get it right? You wrote this. You're a year off. It's 1949.
1949, yeah.
How did you not?
Well, I wanted to show that I was.
You're trying to play the game.
Yes,
Okay,
I'm right.
all right.
Exactly.
Sports
And you
shows.
just exposed me as a fraud.
I don't want anybody
Thanks
to
a
think I
lot,
wrote this.
pal.
I don't want anybody to think
If I go to your hypnotic trance again.
That's the news, Roger. 1949 was the year.
Yeah. You know what? Speaking of the fair, I'm going to go this year. Just kind of
The
walk
pie eating
around the
contest?
ground. Well, I used to go, as
Yeah.
thousands of others
Yeah.
used to go,
Yeah.
and I can't. They, as Terry did earlier in the week, listed all the things that they canceled, particularly the livestock shows, and it was a big event. I remember walking around the barns, and you would see young kids, I think 4-H members, so proud of their pig or their hog or their horse or the cow or whatever the case may be. And it all started, as most fairs did, as an agricultural show. To give young people an opportunity to show off their
Wares,
animal or creature or whatever. And
I worked it a few years.
you did?
I
With
sold Coke and lemonade in the grandstands.
who do you remember who the artist was? Grandstand?
Yeah, because I was in their trailer. Ray Stevens.
Ray Stevens. He's still around, isn't he?
I met him.
Yeah.
I was in his trailer. Sold him a Coke or something. I don't know. Coca-Cola. Oh boy, I can't remember some of the other ones. I have to think about that because there's a long
See,
time.
now, a few minutes ago, you were berating me because I couldn't remember after writing the script.
Well,
And you were in a grandstand selling, and you met these celebrities, and you can only remember one.
I'm not a big celebrity kind of guy. I guess I don't know. I mean,
Well, we're talking about your memory now.
well, I know.
Did you,
It was Ray Stevens.
Dr. Sidler, do you think Prevagen works?
I don't remember.
Okay. See if I call on you again. All right. How about more news from WCBU brought to you by Spoon River Home Health? Around since 1993, locally owned and operated. Spoon River Home Health are available 24/7. And you can reach that fine folks at 309-245-0723. Now WCBU.
From the WCBU Newsroom, I'm Allie Cooper. The city of Peoria is updating its existing whistleblower protection policy to stay consistent and compliant with state law. City Attorney Patrick Hayes says the Whistleblower Protection Act allows employees to refuse to violate state or federal law and to file complaints when laws are violated.
Our employees have enjoyed these protections to date. I can't recall an episode where this issue's been brought to my attention where someone feels for our organization they need the protection of this act, but it's good that it's there.
The state legislature's recent amendment of the Whistleblower Protection Act clarifies and expands the definitions of several terms, such as employer, employee, and retaliatory action. The City Council has received and filed a first reading of the ordinance update, with a vote to come at a future meeting. Congressman Darren LaHood says cuts to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, and work requirements for Medicaid eligibility are reasonable starts to paring down deficit spending. The Central Illinois Republican says the work requirements will help 4.5 million people in the U.S. to find jobs.
Our social safety net, it should be a trampoline and not a hammock.
LaHood says there are 9 million unfilled jobs in the U.S. Critics of the cuts say many Medicaid recipients do not qualify for those jobs and that the reductions will increase hunger in the nation. Well, an East Peoria dentist has been identified as the man who died in a skydiving accident earlier this week in LaSalle County. According to LaSalle County officials, the coroner's office was called to Skydive Chicago in Ottawa, Illinois on Monday for a report of a male deceased in a skydiving accident. He was identified as 48-year-old Dr. Noel Liu of East Peoria. An autopsy was conducted on Tuesday. Results are still pending, and officials say further forensic and toxicology testing is required before a final report. The incident is still under investigation by the LaSalle County Coroner's Office and the LaSalle County Sheriff's Office. The National Transportation Safety Board and the Federal Aviation Administration are also involved in the investigation. I'm Allie Cooper, WCBU News.
Let's see. That was
All right, it's time for sports, ladies and gentlemen, and with the latest, Dr. Gene Sidler, and in the sports once again brought to you by BradleyFans.com.
Thank you, Roger. Baseball news from yesterday: the Chicago Cubs beat the Minnesota Twins 8-1. Pete Crow Armstrong with 2 home runs, giving him 25 on the season, ties him for the club lead with Seiya Suzuki. Cubs now move to the big city of New York City to play the Yankees in a 3-game series starting tonight. The St. Louis Cardinals won, also beating the Washington Nationals by the same 8-1 score. Cardinals will host the Atlanta Braves for a series in St. Louis starting tonight. And the Chicago White Sox game against the Cleveland Guardians last night rained out. Heavy rains in Chicago area last night, went on for hours. That was the first of a 4-game series, and so they'll play a split doubleheader today with games at 2:10 and 7:10 p.m.
Now, you need to explain what a split.
It means if you buy a ticket for the first one, you got to leave the stadium and buy a ticket to get back in if you want to watch the second.
But usually more than a couple hours difference.
Yeah, usually they are. In this case, they're just 5 hours
like
apart.
A day-night.
Yeah, they used to call that a day-night doubleheader. Yep. The Peoria Chiefs lost to the Cedar Rapids Colonels 9-4. The Chiefs will play a doubleheader tonight to make up for the rainout of Tuesday night's game, and then the series continues on through Sunday.
Is that a day-night?
That is no, it's a standard doubleheader starting at, I think, 4:10 this afternoon.
So your ticket is good for 2 games?
Yep. If you go tonight, you can see 2 games. If you want to sit through that long and that much baseball, I hope it doesn't rain tonight. I don't think it's supposed to, right?
Tonight? Yeah, it is.
It is a little bit. Yeah.
Showers and thunderstorms, popcorn style.
Some big news in the Wimbledon tennis tournament. Of course, the women's semifinals yesterday. Big upset. The 23-year-old American Amanda Anisimova, the number 13 seed in the tournament, upset the number 1 ranked player in the country, Arina Sabalenka, the Belarus tennis player, in 3 sets, 6-4, 4-6, 6-4. So she will move to the championship of the Wimbledon on Saturday morning. She will play number 8-seeded Iga Swiatek. Now, a year or so ago, Iga Swiatek was ranked number 1 in the world. She's fallen off a little bit.
What country is she?
She's from Poland, and of course, she's a very good player. She has just breezed through her matches so far to reach the final. She beat Belinda Bencic of Switzerland yesterday, 6-2, 6-0. So that should be a good match Saturday morning. It'll be on ESPN at 10 a.m. Central Time. Broadcast on ABC at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. On the men's singles side, the men were off yesterday. They play their semifinal matches today. The first match is number 5 seeded Taylor Fritz, American, and he will match up against number 2 seed Carlos Alcaraz, the winner of Wimbledon for the last 2 years. And in the second semifinal, takes place this morning around 10 o'clock our time. Will be number 1 seed Yannick Sinner looking for his first Wimbledon championship against number 6 seeded Novak Djokovic, who has won it 7 times. So that also probably going to be a good matchup. Like I say, starts at 7 o'clock on ESPN this morning with the first match, and then second match starting around 10 a.m. And the Tour de France, stage 6 yesterday, was won by an Irish rider, Ben Healy. Overall leader after 6 stages remains the Dutch rider Mathieu van der Poel, but the Tour favorite and last year's winner Tadej Pogacar of Slovenia is a close second place. The highest ranking American in the race so far after 6 stages is Matteo Jorgensen. He's in 6th place. He's not a big mountain climber, so he'll probably drop back. He's a minute and 22 seconds behind the lead, but at least we have an American in the top 10, and that's been unusual since Lance Armstrong's days back in the early 2000s. So interesting so far, and it goes to 21 stages. It runs through 2 weeks from Sunday, whatever that would be.
Boy, that's a long time.
What is the 13th? The 27th, I guess, it goes all the way to the 27th of this month.
We root for Americans in that because that's a name that you can pronounce. But aren't you amazed at how
he's pretty good at names.
You practice on. I am too.
He's pretty good.
You breeze through those just like
I just pay attention to how they pronounce them on TV.
Yeah. Well, that's one way, at least you're with them.
I think it's respectful to at least try to learn people's pronunciation as well as what their names are.
I know someone who thought your last name was Sidler.
Well,
and I
for some reason, when people read it, 9 times out of 10, they'll call it Sidler.
Sidler?
Which I guess because S-I-D-E is side and with an R on the end.
It's got an E in there somewhere, doesn't it?
Yeah, G.
At the end of side, S-I-D-E.
Yeah.
Anyway, one more note. The NCAA.
What that meant. Go ahead.
One more note about NCAA basketball. And of course, basketball. I have to put that in if there's any news. Anyway, the NCAA this week considered expanding the NCAA tournament from 68 teams to 72 or 78. They considered both alternatives. Right now, they have not made a decision on that, but they're going to come back to that and consider it further. Well, there's always criticism. There's always criticism that they left out teams that are better than some that they put in. So expanding it would maybe give room for a few more, but on the other hand, they'll probably just put in the 9th and 10th place teams in the big conferences and still leave out the good teams from the smaller conferences, which is what the main criticism has always been. But it's revenue. It gives more TV games, and that's where the NCAA generates the biggest part of its revenue is in the TV coverage of the postseason tournament. So
TV is so important to college revenue, and it's been amazing to me. And I know we've all done it for the most part. And turn your TV on to maybe the ESPN channel, and they're covering a football or basketball game in which there's only maybe 200, 300 people. If they attract that low number, what are they going to do on national TV? I'm sure there's going to be more than 200, 300 people, but you wonder, why'd you choose this game, for crying out loud?
I don't know.
Okay, I didn't mean
they
to
haven't
with that question.
Consulted me.
Look and see if I have another question that you might not like.
They've got how many channels does ESPN have now?
I know.
They have ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN News, ESPNU, and now they've got ESPN Plus, which is the streaming side of ESPN, which at times you can have as many as 1,000 things going at the same time and pick between what sport and what event.
I don't have any of it. I don't have ESPN.
I do subscribe to ESPN Plus because all of Brandy's games are on ESPN Plus. All of the Missouri Valley games are. with the occasional one will be broadcast on a TV channel, but most of them are on ESPN Plus. But then I cancel my subscription after the season's over because there's not much.
There's nothing there.
Well,
What would you charge, having sat with you and you've got a great seat there? What would you charge me if I gave you my cell phone, or you could use your own, and during the game just hold it up and let me watch? Because you've got a great seat and you don't miss it. There are people around you that say some things that I would love to hear, and would you could do that because
I could do that.
Couple of young guys who covered some Bradley games.
Well, yeah, I think I've mentioned that a few years ago, Bradley made a trip to Europe, played a game in Amsterdam. We had a player at that time, Luc van Bray, who was from Netherlands, and his sister live streamed the game while it was going on from beginning to end with her cell phone and put it up on Facebook. You can live stream free on Facebook on your Facebook account. And so, yeah, we all got to watch it was an exhibition game and it was fun to watch. They played a low-level pro team in Amsterdam.
Did she announce it in Dutch?
She did not do the play-by-play. We just had to watch it silently.
Did you move the can? Did you settle?
Oh yeah, she had to go from one end to the other. Watch the action.
Facebook right now and turn it on. Said we'll have a network all of a sudden.
So yeah, it's possible I could do that, but I would charge you more than it would cost you to get a subscription to ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
And actually watch professionals do it.
Yeah, exactly right. When you say professionals,
well,
some of those aren't the best in the world.
They're low-level professionals.
They've discussed.
Although we're not really.
Are they?
Not professionals. Yeah, they are.
Watch that.
No, some of them are pretty good, and actually, some of them are those games on ESPN Plus. Even the lower level college games are done by guys like John Rooney. He'll do some of those games for ESPN Plus.
John Rooney will.
The Cardinals announcer. So
he used to do a Missouri Valley game, and is he still doing Cardinal games?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's still a Cardinals announcer.
All right.
And yeah, of course, in the off season, he'll take whatever work comes along, I suppose.
So will I. Not much has come along, as a matter of fact. What has come along? Are you done with?
That is it for.
I don't know whether you had any other postscript announcement. Well, then let's do. Our news this morning is sponsored by your hometown community banks division of Morton Community Bank. Look for the clock tower and you'll know they have time for you. Member FDIC. Now the news.
The dangerous illegals are getting closer to central Illinois. The Department of Homeland Security has announced officers have captured in Council Bluffs, Iowa, an El Salvadoran wanted for 5 murders. Another M13 gang member on the run for dealing drugs was apprehended in Omaha, Nebraska. "We're not grabbing people off the streets," said an officer. "We're after the worst of the worst." In Peoria, 43-year-old Daniel Pace is going to prison for 60 years for beating and setting his girlfriend on fire. Prosecutors provided testimony about numerous incidents of violence against the women in his life, but was only charged with a single count of aggravated battery and aggravated domestic battery that sent his current girlfriend to a local hospital for treatment of burns. Homeowners with State Farm Insurance may want to start getting quotes from other companies because the Bloomington-based company has announced it's raising premiums. Effective Tuesday, July 15th, applicants for homeowners coverage will pay an increase of more than 27% over last year's rates. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz appeared before the House Oversight Committee last month. Apparently, he was nervous about his appearance because he spent $430,000 in taxpayer money prepping for the hearing. That's the word from the Minneapolis Star-Tribune newspaper, who said Walz paid $516 per hour to prepare for the questioning. 2 of Donald Trump's favorite personalities will face off in a San Francisco courtroom. CNN host Don Lemon is suing Elon Musk because the billionaire hired him to be on his social media platform X and then fired him. Since no one likes Lemon, he started his own company and now appears on YouTube. Kind of like Breakfast with Roger and Friends.
All right.
Critics said Trump's tariffs were going to ruin the economy, but so far that hasn't happened. Wall Street reports more records yesterday as the Dow hit 44,650, up 192 points. Nasdaq also up at 20,630, and the S&P 500 closed at 6,280. Caterpillar was up $6.15 a share at $408.33, while John Deere jumped almost $10 a share, ending at $519.20. Protesters and rioters are permitted to wear masks in Massachusetts, but if a bill submitted by Democrat James Hawkins passes in the state legislature, law enforcement officers will not be able to wear the masks. They're called disguises by the liberal media. The movement comes after attacks on police officers and ICE agents in the country. Officials of the Heart of Illinois Fair are putting the finishing touches on this year's event at Exposition Gardens. It all starts Tuesday with ribbon-cutting ceremonies at 4 p.m. While once again a carnival will be missing, there'll be other attractions for families throughout the balance of the week, such as a magic show, tractor pulls, motorsports, including the always popular demolition derby, a pie eating contest, and more. The annual event ends Saturday night, and it may well be the final Heart of Illinois Fair that began in 1949. And those are the headlines, Roger.
Did you have something to say?
I did. We mentioned Ray Stevens a little bit ago. What was the context then? I don't remember.
I met him.
Yeah, he met him.
I was in his trailer.
Oh, that's right. He had
So
been
It
to
was in
PR.
his trailer.
Well,
Well,
you
it's
know,
seldom.
he has continued to perform, and he's 86 years old. But he retired, or at least he announced his retirement at the end of last year, because his wife of 60 years was battling cancer and was very ill, and he was caring for her. She did pass away on December 31st, at the end of the year last year. He then announced just a couple weeks ago that he was going to start performing again, and listed a number of dates. He owns a cabaret type theater, a dinner theater type show, a venue in Nashville where he performed, and so he opened up a few more dates and was performing again. But he had a heart attack last Friday.
Oh, wow.
It was hospitalized, underwent a procedure Tuesday of this week, and has been reported to be out of intensive care on Wednesday of this week and doing fine. But he's probably going to be out for a little while, but recovering now from another little heart attack. But he, as I say, he's still alive and performing at the age of 86.
Wow.
And
Do you think he'll resume entertaining?
I would guess that he does. He's already set these dates to perform at his
Well, that was before
cabaret dinner
that
theater.
was before he had the
Yeah,
cardiac
yeah.
arrest.
There's
might give you
been no
second
announcement.
thought.
Yeah, been no further announcement about it. But yeah, I hope he does.
Well, I
If
do
I ever
too.
get back to Nashville, I think I'll have to go check him out. He as we were talking off camera, he has a program that sometimes shows up on TV.
47.
Yeah, on the
The Saturday nights.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
I've seen it a number of times, and so I don't know if that's still running, but I'll look for it now.
Wouldn't he typically be? When did he have the heart attack? Did he?
4th of July.
4th of July.
Yeah, last
Well,
Friday.
Yeah, typically you go into rehab afterward. You know, you get on the bicycle and
Yeah, apparently it was a mild heart attack, and he underwent this non-invasive procedure
non-invasive.
this week on
What would
Tuesday,
that be?
like a catheterization and
Yeah,
angioplasty.
Yeah, I consider that invasive. I mean, you're going into the body, but you know more about it than I do.
Yeah, no, I think something like a catheter procedure would usually
not-
be considered
In
non-invasive.
other words, invasive is when they go.
It's an
Like a
open
joke.
surgical
Yeah,
procedure. Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Joke.
Well, we wish him well. But he's a funny guy and an outstanding performer.
What would you recall his most memorable song?
Ready to rumble as we have the weather. So stand by.
Okay.
You know which one it is.
It's the
So,
fun one. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we have the weather with another Terry, as a matter of fact, brought to you by Advanced Medical Transport of Central Illinois. And of course, this is a wonderful agency. These have been around for a number of years. AMT serving 65 communities with 54,000 emergency calls a year. When seconds count, count on Advanced Medical Transport of Central Illinois. When it comes to weather, you can count on Terry to give you the details.
Today, 101 heat index, so be careful out there. Possibly a little bit of rain. Tonight, rain, low 73. Tomorrow, 86 and rain. Tomorrow night, 68. Right now, 75 at the Wazoo. Roger.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, let's see whether we have
He's had 2 number 1 hits in his career. Yeah, number 1 on the U.S. Billboard Top 100. One of them was The Streak.
The Streak.
They call him The Streak.
I'm guessing Guitarzan was the other one.
That was close. Actually, Everything is Beautiful was the other number 1 hit. Ahab the Arab made it to number 2. What was the other one?
That's politically correct today.
Ahab, that would have been appropriate. Guitarzan made it to number 7. Oh, he's had a lot of big hits there.
Leroy Brown.
That was Jim Croce.
Oh, different guy.
Okay, different guy.
Back into the sweet midget side. It is too late. She done been in since. Boogie dad, boogie dad. Boogie dad, boogie dad. What's up? Street.
Is that the street? It's big.
70.
Holly 73.
You street in college?
It's not me.
I mean, you don't have to.
Street, that's the easy one to remember. I know. I did not. That would have been a medical school. That would have not been appropriate for a medical student.
I don't know. I used to know some young doctors in there.
Maybe.
Hello once again, everyone. Correction News reporter on the scene at the gas station. There seemed to have been some disturbance here. Pardon me, sir. Did you see what happened?
Yeah, I did. I was just in here trying to get some air in my car there, and he just appeared out of the traffic. Come streaking around the grease strike there, didn't have nothing on but a smile. Ethel's in there getting her a cold drink. I hollered in there. I said, "Don't look at them!" Too late. She done been flashed her right there in front of the shock absorbers. Boogie dad, boogie dad. A boogie dad, boogie dad. What is that car? The street. Like to turn you up.
Grace Stevens.
Yeah.
When it performs the video, makes it even better, doesn't it?
Yes.
So where did you ever go street, Roger?
I never did, but you remember there was a time in sports where some clown would wasn't there a woman who she wasn't totally naked, but she exposed her breasts and ran out and kissed a player for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
That was a different. That wasn't a streak.
And the Kissing Bandit.
Yeah.
Now, she was fully dressed, but she did have
Well, I thought
rather prominent asset.
okay, she was fully.
She was.
And she would, she would appear at Major League Baseball games and jump out over the retaining wall. And,
They call her the
they
kissing
call her
bandit.
Morgana, the Kissing Bandit. Look it up.
yeah.
I can.
You gotta look it up or look it down. Whatever.
Oh, I don't like
You'll
Yeah.
find it. She's quite famous.
I'm sorry.
Usually the players would seem quite pleased by it.
Yes,
But
that they were chosen.
yeah, she would go up to like Wade Boggs. I can remember one time that she kissed him, and I don't remember who all the others were that she targeted.
Oh, wow.
But
And they didn't know in advance, did they?
no,
At least,
no.
How old is she today? Do you
Well,
think?
today she would be probably 78.
That's correct.
Yeah.
78 years old.
How about that?
Boy, you nailed it.
And born in
Born in Madison, Wisconsin.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Boy, you seem to have followed her career.
No, I'm just guessing here now. I just
You know her real name?
was it Morgana?
No.
No,
uh-uh.
no, I don't know that.
Jane Roberts.
Oh.
Okay, well, that was interesting.
Well, yeah. Did you see these things?
Are you
Well, her
are you getting a? Do they have a bust of her there?
Oh.
That was very good,
yes,
James.
two of them.
Yeah.
You two ought to go on the road together, for that matter. Hey, do you want to do this day in history?
Oh, absolutely.
No, you don't, because
Oh.
every now and then this day in history really comes up.
The
with
good thing is
bad-
it's Friday and we get a couple mulligans.
well,
that's
the
right.
mulligans are as bad as the one. You won't know, but you know, you are a glutton for punishment, so we'll go. July 11th, 1905, a movement was formed. What was the movement, and who were the movers and shakers for the movement?
The first convenience store, 7-Eleven, on 7-Eleven, first convenience store.
No, but that we are
Is it a
celebrating that.
political movement?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. How would you define a political movement?
Well, let's see. The president in 1905 was Teddy Roosevelt. Did it have anything to do
No.
with Teddy Roosevelt?
The fireside chats.
No,
No, that was
Oh, that was
that was
FDR.
in the 40s.
Would it be like a labor
No,
labor union?
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
We all have a lot of ums.
Did it lead to an amendment to the Constitution?
I don't think so.
No,
No.
nothing like that.
Eventually, yes.
I don't know. You got to stump to give us another clue.
No, that's it.
Counting Nation with Page and
Yeah, that
attached
was what I was thinking.
We'll I'll help you out with
Okay.
the what's a famous place that people go to in New York and or Canada?
Niagara Falls.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, was the first person in a barrel?
But
First person to make it
drop,
over in a barrel?
drop falls. Drop the term falls.
Niagara.
Great.
Yeah, Niagara what?
Nice.
Wasn't the falls. It had nothing to do. That was just a clue to get you to the word Niagara.
Was it the USS Niagara?
See, I knew you would have trouble with this because I never heard of it. You probably never heard
It
of
was a
it
spray
either.
starch.
It was called the Niagara Movement. Does that ring a bell with any?
Nope.
I didn't think it would.
No.
So then we go to the two men who were responsible for the movement, which was a conference for Black leaders near Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. The group was meeting in response to Booker T. Washington, who pushed for strategies to achieve civil rights for Black people in America. And Washington's philosophy supported Black Americans seeking political and social equality, but constrained them to embrace vocational skills and accept living peacefully but separate from white people. So, who were the two leaders?
Do you think that we would
No,
be likely to know them?
no. One, by the way, had the middle name of Monroe.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll give you his name, William Monroe Trotter.
Oh, Billy
that-
Monroe. Yeah.
Do you
sure.
remember that?
Sure. Billy
No,
Monroe.
there probably
Okay.
are Canadians. I'm guessing if it was in Canada.
Well, the group met in Ontario because the Canadian side of Niagara Falls allowed African Americans to congregate in meetings, unlike the American side.
Hmm.
The other person had the initials WEB.
Oh, W.E.B. Du Bois.
That is correct. And they were the
Yeah, he
leaders
was
who formed the
American.
Niagara movement.
W.E.B. Du Bois.
Du Bois?
Yes.
Du Bois.
Du Bois.
D-E-B-O-I-S.
Du Bois. What?
That is
Could be
correct.
Du Bois.
Okay, as you flunked
Okay.
that one, which I knew you would.
Oh, we got the last part of it.
You
We got W.E.B.
All right.
Yes.
All right,
Gets
you
point.
get to see it.
We'll give Gene a point.
We'll go to
Okay.
July 12th, 1389. And this, of course, will give you even a better chance to fail. But
What was the date?
who was named chief
13.
clerk by Richard II?
1389.
1889.
No,
1389.
1389.
1389.
Ooh,
Class, I'll do the corrections.
okay. Roger's in charge.
Yes.
Is his first name Thomas?
No.
Jim. Roger.
Oliver.
John.
You're going to pass this with the next clue. I felt so bad. You know, teachers want you to succeed, and I want you to succeed. The person wrote something in which he mixed a group of nobles, peasants, and clergy to make a pilgrimage to the shrine of Thomas Becket in Canterbury. I was sure you would get it with that clue.
So the
William.
person we're looking for wrote some sort of
Yes, he did.
letter about this?
But the question is, in 1389, who was named chief clerk by Richard II? And the person who was named was well known, at least when we were going through school, for something that he wrote or wrote.
Is it Geoffrey Chaucer?
And that is correct.
Wow.
For 10 points.
Wow.
Good for you.
Yes.
That was, you pulled that one out.
All right. And July 13th, 1798, who visited Tintern Abbey?
Benjamin Franklin.
No.
Again, the date was 1798.
98. Yes.
No clue.
Thomas Jefferson.
No. And his sister, Dorothy, visited a ruined church, and it was called Tintern Abbey, inspiring a poem with the same name titled Tintern Abbey.
So was this one of our founding fathers?
No.
I'm saying one of the poets.
Was it an American even?
I guess it didn't say he was an American, but
So you're probably thinking we aren't even going to know this name, right?
yes, you are.
Oh,
Because when I was growing up, there was a store in downtown Peoria with his name.
Ben Franklin?
No, she had already said that earlier.
Oh.
If you were listening.
Zoltz?
there was a store by the name of Soul. There you go.
All the stores, one on Garden and then one over in Cherry Village or whatever.
Cherry Village, yeah.
I
knew Tucker. Tucker Zolt.
Woolworth.
Grants.
Woolworth.
Woolworth?
No.
Grants.
Actually, it's close to it. That's what I brought up.
Oh.
William.
You got it. You got it on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah, the poet William
Wordsworth Longsmith.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
William Wordsworth, with his sister, visited Tintern Abbey and then Zolt's.
What's Tintern Abbey? I don't know.
Must be a famous old church in England.
A ruined church. That's it.
Do you have anything more recent, Roger?
Well, I warned you. I told you I had all. What was that?
There's got to be other things this day in history that was a little bit closer to this century.
And
it's in Cardiff, Wales, maybe? I don't know.
It appeared in 1798 in Lyrical Ballads with a few other poems, in which Wordsworth collaborated with who? What other writer? Whose name started with Samuel?
Clement.
Beckett.
No. The middle name is the same as a famous actress who had her own set of diamonds or cologne.
Taylor.
Okay, Samuel Taylor.
Coleridge.
That is exactly right.
No clue.
Nice clue.
Never heard of that.
Yeah. Well, we're sorry, but that's why we have this, is to say, do your best. Now, were you glad we did this day in
Well,
history?
we're always
This
glad
is
to do it.
Tintern Abbey. It's
That's
outside
Tintern
of
Abbey?
Cardiff, Wales.
Did you go there?
No, this was in Wales. We did not make it to Wales. That's
Well,
one of
if you did, it'd be a whale of
Is
a
that like
time.
bombed out or something? I
it's
thought
a
It's a ruin.
ruined old
Oh.
church. I don't know a whole lot about it here. It's in the village of
Tintern Abbey.
Tintern, on the bank of the River Wye, W-Y-E.
I don't know.
This is this
Fell into ruin in the 16th century.
I have another more timely question for you after I tell you that it'll be sunny and a hot 93. We're going to have what, a heat index of 101?
101?
Some ridiculous.
Crazy.
And right now, what do you have? I have 75.
I have 75 also.
Did Harrison Ford appear on The View?
This week?
No, I don't watch it.
You don't know.
Apparently, I saw that headline too.
Right. Sid storms off the set of The View. First of all, Harrison, why in the world would you dignify that?
Probably promoting a movie. That's the only reason those people go on these shows.
He used to be my idol.
Yeah, there's headlines like Harrison Ford's furious exit from The View after Joy Behar's question. I don't know what exactly that's about. Fiery showdown, lots of different ways it's being described in these headlines.
Hey.
And then on another left-wing show, Jimmy Pimple, apparently Mark Wahlberg, they told him to, the Pimple told him to get off the show.
Told him to leave?
Yes.
Oh my. Get a little violent out there, huh? Harrison Ford, when he was 50 years old, he had his ear pierced. And I was probably 40 some years old at the time. And so my daughters, when I'm 50, I'll get my ears pierced. I get my ear pierced. My 50th birthday, my daughters woke me up. Said, "Come on, we're going to the mall." I said, "I don't go to the mall. I'm not. I don't shop. I'm not." No, you've always told us that your word is good, and you never lie to us. And you said when you were 50, you'd get your ear pierced. So we're going to take you to the mall and get your ear pierced. So I did it. I mean, I couldn't lie about that. So I went and got my ear pierced at 50 years old. At I don't know, some.
Probably Claire's Boutique. That was big back then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I didn't lie to my daughters. I told them the truth. Got my ear pierced. That didn't last too long. I did it. I was a man of my word.
Let's see.
Dumb things we do and say to our kids.
Not beat anyone up backstage. The audience laughed, but Wahlberg's smile faltered slightly as he took his seat. He'd dealt with jokes about his troubled youth for decades, but something about Kimmel's delivery rubbed him wrong. Still, he maintained his composure, settling into the guest chair with practiced ease. "So, Mark, you've got another action movie coming out," Kimmel began, leaning back in his chair with that familiar smirk. "At 53, when do you think you'll finally retire from pretending to be tough on screen?" Wahlberg's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. "Well, Jimmy, I think as long as audiences want to see authentic stories about real people overcoming real challenges, there's always going to be a place for that kind of filmmaking." "Authentic stories," Kimmel repeated, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "Right, because nothing says authentic like a millionaire actor from Dorchester pretending he's still connected to the streets." The studio fell uncomfortably quiet. Even the band members exchanged glances. This wasn't the usual playful ribbing that characterized most celebrity interviews. There was genuine malice in Kimmel's voice. Wahlberg leaned forward slightly, his voice remaining controlled but firm. "Jimmy, I've never pretended to be something I'm not. I've been very open about my past, the mistakes I made, and how I've worked to make amends." "Oh yes, the redemption arc," Kimmel continued, seemingly oblivious to the tension he was creating. "Tell me, Mark, do you think your victims from back in the day watch your movies and think, 'Oh good, the guy who gave me permanent vision problems is now worth $300 million'? The reference to Wahlberg's 1988 assault conviction hit like a sledgehammer. Wahlberg's publicist, sitting in the green room, immediately reached for her phone. This was crossing every line of professional conduct in the entertainment industry. Jimmy, that's completely inappropriate, Wahlberg said, his Boston accent becoming more pronounced as his anger rose. I was 16 years old. I served my time. I made direct amends to the people involved, and I've spent 35 years trying to be a better person. Have you, though? Kimmel pressed, clearly enjoying the discomfort he was causing. Because from where I sit, it looks like you just got rich and famous enough that people stopped caring about what you did. The audience was dead silent now. Camera operators were getting signals from producers in the booth, unsure whether to keep rolling or cut to commercial. Wahlberg's hands were visibly shaking, not from fear, but from the effort it was taking to maintain his composure. You know what, Jimmy? Wahlberg stood up slowly, his voice dangerously quiet. I came here tonight to talk about a movie that employs hundreds of people, supports dozens of families, and tells a story about second chances. But instead, you want to drag up the worst moment of my life for cheap laughs. Kimmel seemed to realize. He'd gone too far, but his ego wouldn't let him back down. Hey, I'm just asking the questions people want answered. Isn't that what journalism is about? Journalism? Wahlberg's voice rose for the first time. This isn't journalism, Jimmy. This is a hit job. And frankly, coming from someone who built their career on making fun of people who can't fight back, it's pretty rich. The tension in the studio was now so thick it was almost visible. Audience members were shifting uncomfortably in their seats, unsure whether they were witnessing entertainment or a genuine breakdown in professional courtesy. Security personnel had quietly moved closer to the stage area. Kimmel's face flushed red. He'd always prided himself on being able to handle difficult guests, but Wahlberg's controlled fury was unlike anything he'd encountered. The actor wasn't yelling or causing a scene in the traditional sense, but his quiet intensity was somehow more intimidating than any outburst would have been. Mark, maybe we should take a break, Kimmel suggested, finally recognizing that the situation was spiraling out of control. No, Jimmy, let's not take a break, Wahlberg replied, his voice steady but filled with barely contained rage. Let's finish this conversation. The studio lights seemed to burn brighter as the two men stared at each other across the desk.
You remember that happening? I never watched late night because
No.
it's so political. But
I never knew Wahlberg did something weird when he was a kid. I didn't know that story.
well, that's one of the reasons why Jimmy Pimple brought it up.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg is a devout Catholic. He's Republican. He's a very conservative man, and we've probably all seen him do those Hallow commercials on TV, the Catholic prayer app for your phone or laptop. He's a very moral guy. He's been married to the same woman, since he first got married. He's got kids, and he moved out of Hollywood, lives in Las Vegas now because he didn't like the environment of Hollywood. And all he does is make movies that make hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's very wealthy.
And he's also a big supporter of either Wounded Warriors, but
Yes.
one of those that helps
the Tunnel to Towers.
Yeah.
He's on those Tunnel to Towers commercials. So yeah, Jimmy Kimmel obviously was prepared to attack him and went back to some incident that he had when he was a 16-year-old, I guess, where he got in trouble and spent some time in jail. You know, he came from a very rough part of Boston, what was referred to there as Dorchester, and a lot of gangs and gang activity and so forth. And yeah, so he probably got caught up in a little bit of that, but he's changed his life, and he doesn't make sleazy films. He doesn't have excessive nudity or sex in any of his movies. He's a good guy. He's basically a good guy, and that really irks Jimmy Kimmel.
He makes a good burger.
And his family owns the burger chain. Yeah.
Great burger.
Actually, it's his older brother that
Oh, is that who it is?
that owns the. Well, I think they all have.
It was
some
an
interest.
excellent. They had that fake burger, that fake meat bean burger thing. It was excellent.
I think they dropped that though, didn't they?
Well, they closed the whole place.
Well, the one here in Peoria,
Yeah.
but there's a chain of them. They're all over the country.
Yeah. Oh, they dropped it. They were excellent.
Was it out? Was it at
High V?
High V?
Yeah, yeah.
Was great.
All right. Well, we've run into news at the top of the hour. Let's get into the news and bring you all the latest.
Right after the talking.
And our news at the top of the hour on WAZU FM 90.7 in Peoria, Illinois, brought to you by Certified Public Accountant and Tax Specialist Matt Wall, offering a wide range of specialized services designed to address the ever-changing accounting and tax needs for individuals and businesses. Matt Wall, CPA with over 40 years of experience. You can reach him at 309-692-4030. We start with the weather.
Sunny and hot. 93 today, possible showers. It'll be like Satan is spitting on you. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms, low 73. Tomorrow, high 86 with a good chance of showers and thunderstorms. Tomorrow night, more rain, low 68. Sunday, sunny, high 86. Monday, sunny and 91. Right now, it's 75 at the Wazoo.
And now the news are brought to you by Steve Sink. He is the managing partner of PHX affiliate. Steve has been helping for over 20 years now people who want to buy or sell their business. He knows business, and you can reach Steve at 309-696-8508.
The bad and dangerous illegals are getting closer to central Illinois. The Department of Homeland Security has announced officers have captured in Council Bluffs, Iowa, an El Salvadoran wanted for 5 murders. Another M13 gang member on the run for dealing drugs was apprehended in Omaha, Nebraska. "We're not grabbing people off the streets," said an officer. "We're after the worst of the worst."
In Peoria, 43-year-old Daniel Pace is going to prison for 60 years for beating and setting his girlfriend on fire. Prosecutors provided testimony of numerous incidences of horrific violence against the women in his life, but he was only charged with a single count of aggravated battery and aggravated domestic battery that sent his current girlfriend to a local hospital for treatment of burns.
Attention homeowners with State Farm Insurance. You may want to start getting quotes from other companies because the Bloomington-based company has announced it's raising premiums. Effective Tuesday, July 15th, applicants for homeowners coverage will pay an increase of more than 27% over last year's rates. When that happens, it usually means it had to pay some heavy losses. When they lose, so do you.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz appeared before the House Oversight Committee last month. Apparently, he's a little nervous about his appearance because he spent $430,000 in taxpayer money prepping for the meeting. That's the word from the Minneapolis Star-Tribune newspaper, who said Walz paid $516 an hour to be prepped for questions he was to receive.
2 of Donald Trump's favorite personalities will face one another in a San Francisco courtroom. CNN host Don Lemon, also known as Don Lemon, is suing Elon Musk because the billionaire hired him to be on his social media platform X and then fired him. Since no one likes Lemon, he started his own company and now appears on YouTube like Breakfast with Roger and Friends.
They said Trump's tariffs would create a lot of ruin for the economy, but so far that hasn't been the case. Far from it. Wall Street reports more records as the Dow hit 44,650 yesterday. It was up 192 points. NASDAQ also up 20,630, and the S&P 500 closed at 6280. Caterpillar was up $6.15 a share to close at 408.33, while John Deere jumped $10 almost. Their shares ended at 519.20.
Protesters and rioters are permitted to wear masks in Massachusetts. But if a bill submitted by Democrat James Hawkins passes in the state legislature, law enforcement officers will not be able to wear the masks. They're called disguises by the liberal media. The movement comes after attacks on police officers and ICE agents in the country. Such a state ban becomes a challenge between federal and local law. Can state law supersede federal provisions?
I don't know. Officials of the Heart of Illinois Fair are putting the finishing touches on this year's event at Expo Gardens. It all starts Tuesday with ribbon cutting ceremonies at 4 p.m., while once again, a carnival will be missing. There'll be other attractions for families throughout the balance of the week, such as the magic show. It's going to be about 4, 5, 6 different local musicians will perform at that from time to time. Tractor pulls, of course, motorsports, including the always popular Demolition Derby, a pie eating contest, and more. The annual event ends Saturday night, and it may well be the final Heart of Illinois Fair, which started in 1949. And that, Roger, is the news.
Have any of you or all of you watched the Demolition Derby at one time or another?
At the fair, yeah.
Yes.
A fun thing.
Oh, yeah.
What is the key way to be at least one of the better drivers? You're right.
Backward,
Right.
you back into
Because if you do it forward, you damage the motor.
Well,
if you do it with the trunk,
crash it into the. You
yeah.
get leaks and things and mess up your radiator.
It's the radiator that you don't want to puncture or damage, because then your engine overheats and it just
and that's
blows
the first. That's the first thing in your.
Are you old enough,
Yeah.
the three of you, to remember the days when people's radiators would overheat?
Sure.
They still can sometimes.
Yeah. I saw a truck driver on I-74 was off to the side, and he was pouring water in his radiator.
Huh.
I thought that's unusual.
Well, it doesn't happen as often. There's lots of things that don't happen in cars because they don't run as hot.
Yeah.
When they get rid of leaded gas, then cars.
The other trick is to get a station wagon from the 1970s.
Which you have.
No, like an Oldsmobile extended station wagon, because they have extras. The rules always are that you cannot modify them by putting extra frame support.
Right.
But those late 70s, early 80s station wagons all had extra frame support in the back, because that's where kids sat. Sometimes they had those rear facing seats, and any collision from the rear would have been very dangerous to them. So they reinforced the frame in the back and extended it out farther than it does in most sedans. So yeah, if you've got a station wagon, you have a real advantage in those demo. Unfortunately, people know that, and pretty much all the junkyards in the entire country have been stripped clean of those 70s station wagons. They just you can't find them anywhere anymore.
I've got another story, but I'll tell you after this, because I know your hand is poised to do something.
From the WCBU newsroom, I'm Allie Cooper. The city of Peoria is updating its existing whistleblower protection policy to stay consistent and compliant with state law. City Attorney Patrick Hayes says the Whistleblower Protection Act allows employees to refuse to violate state or federal law and to file complaints when laws are violated.
Our employees have enjoyed these protections to date. I can't recall an episode where this issue's been brought to my attention where someone feels for our organization they need the protection of this act, but it's good that it's there.
The state legislature's recent amendment of the Whistleblower Protection Act clarifies and expands the definitions of several terms, such as employer, employee, and retaliatory action. The City Council has received and filed a first reading of the ordinance update, with a vote to come at a future meeting. Congressman Darren LaHood says cuts to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, and work requirements for Medicaid eligibility are reasonable starts to paring down deficit spending. The Central Illinois Republican says the work requirements will help 4.5 million people in the U.S. to find jobs.
Our social safety net, it should be a trampoline and not a hammock.
LaHood says there are 9 million unfilled jobs in the U.S. Critics of the cuts say many Medicaid recipients do not qualify for those jobs and that the reductions will increase hunger in the nation. Well, an East Peoria dentist has been identified as the man who died in a skydiving accident earlier this week in LaSalle County. According to LaSalle County officials, the coroner's office was called to Skydive Chicago in Ottawa, Illinois on Monday for a report of a male deceased in a skydiving accident. He was identified as 48-year-old Dr. Noel Liu of East Peoria. An autopsy was conducted on Tuesday. Results are still pending, and officials say further forensic and toxicology testing is required before a final report. The incident is still under investigation by the LaSalle County Coroner's Office and the LaSalle County Sheriff's Office. The National Transportation Safety Board and the Federal Aviation Administration are also involved in the investigation. I'm Allie Cooper, WCBU News.
How come?
And we continue with sports, brought to you by BradleyFans.com. Here's Dr. Gene Sidler with the latest. Good morning, Gino.
Good morning, Roger, and thank you. Sports news. We'll start with baseball scores. The Chicago Cubs beat the Minnesota Twins 8-1 yesterday. Pete Crow Armstrong homered twice, giving him 25 homers for the season and tying him with Seiya Suzuki for the team lead. The Cubs are in New York City now to play the Yankees in a 3-game series, starting with a game tonight. St. Louis Cardinals won. They beat the Washington Nationals by the same score, 8-1. The Cardinals will host the Atlanta Braves for a series starting tonight. And the White Sox game against the Cleveland Guardians last night up at Rate Field in Chicago was the first of a 4-game series, but was postponed due to some heavy rain up there in Chicago that lasted pretty much all night. They will play a split doubleheader today with games at 2:10 p.m. and 7:10 p.m. The Peoria Chiefs lost to the Cedar Rapids Colonels 9-4. The Chiefs will play a doubleheader tonight to make up for the Tuesday night rainout, as well as the regularly scheduled game for tonight, and they will continue that series through the weekend. In London, England, Wimbledon tennis is wrapping up this weekend, and the women's semifinals were yesterday. There was a big upset on the women's semifinals, and it was the 23-year-old American Amanda Anisimova, who was 13 seed in the tournament. She upset the number 1 ranked player in the world, Arina Sabalenka, the 27-year-old Belarusian tennis player, in 3 sets, 6-4, 4-6, 6-4. She advances to the championship match on Saturday. She's the first American woman to reach the final since Serena Williams in 2019. She will play the number 8 seed Iga Swiatek of Poland, who easily beat an unseeded opponent, Belinda Bencic of Switzerland, 6-2, 6-0 yesterday. And that championship match will be on ESPN at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, rebroadcast at 2 p.m. on the ABC network. Men's singles, they were off yesterday, and they will play their semifinal matches today. The 2 semifinal matches, the first one is underway at about 7:30 our time, and will feature number 5 seed American Taylor Fritz, and he will go up against number 2 seed Carlos Alcaraz, who's won Wimbledon the last 2 years. The second match is the number 1 seeded Yannick Sinner looking for his first Wimbledon championship against number 6 seeded Novak Djokovic, and he, of course, has won the tournament 7 times, looking for a record-tying 8th championship, which would tie him with Roger Federer if he is successful with his 8th championship at Wimbledon. He's won the Australian Open something like 16 times. I mean, this guy has been a dominant player. He's kind of fallen off a little bit. And of course, he got in trouble because he refused to take the vaccine, and Australia wouldn't even let him come in and play in I think, the 2021 tournament. So he missed that one. He probably would have won that one too. Anyway, the men's championships tomorrow the men's semifinals today are on ESPN right now. It's 7 o'clock Central, and the first match, I believe, starts at 7:30. And that's the one with the American Taylor Fritz. And the Tour de France yesterday was stage 6. An Irish rider, Ben Healy, won that stage. The overall leader after 6 stages is Dutch rider Mathieu van der Poel. And the Tour favorite, Tadej Pogacar of Slovenia, is in 2nd place. Highest ranking American, Matteo Jorgensen, 6th place right now, 1:22 behind. He will fall farther back, though, when they hit the mountainous stages because, yes, he's just...
Well, you don't know that for sure, do you?
You kind of go by what they report his history is, and he's just not a great mountain climber. And
you don't like him?
Well, I would love to see an American back at the
I
top.
would
Absolutely.
too. That's why I'm a little disappointed
All
in
right,
you.
we'll pull for him.
Is a minute and a half? Is that a long time to be behind?
No, it's really not. If you're capable in the different forms of the
Stages,
race. Yeah,
the
right now,
different-
so far, the first 6 races have all been relatively flat up in the north part of France and in Normandy, where we talked about it, has been the last couple of days. Very hilly, but hills like we have here in Peoria, not hills like they have down in southern France in the Alps region. So when it gets into the Pyrenees, which is southeastern France, and Alps, which is southwestern France is the Pyrenees, and southwestern, southeastern.
You can go any direction.
Anyway,
we won't know the
check a
difference.
map.
I have
But
no
yeah,
idea. It's not Grandview
there are
Drive.
now there is an American rider who is very good in the mountains. His name is Sepp Cass.
Who?
Sepp Cass.
Sepp?
SEPP is his first name.
As in
I have no
sepsis?
idea what that stands for, but he's in 22nd place presently,
Ooh,
so
not
he could
good.
move up, and he did very well in last year's tour. But
Are they
he
still
won't.
bunched up pretty good at this point?
Well, the way they race, they kind of stay together because
They draft.
wind resistance is the thing that slows you down the most. And so, yeah, they'll kind of stay together in what they call the peloton.
Oh, really?
That
I've
comes from
never
a
heard
word
that
that
term.
means like a flock of
It's an
geese or
exercise. That's
something.
an exercise equipment.
Well, they
Peloton.
took that name from
Oh,
From,
cycling.
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
but the
See,
other
good for making the connection there,
Okay.
Baldy.
But
Peloton,
then
huh?
but then somewhere near the latter half of the race, somebody will break out. Or sometimes it's 3 or 4 racers that'll break out and try to
We do that on the
set a
show. Every
faster
now and then
pace, but
somebody
they
breaks
usually
out.
fatigue,
sticker on
and
this
again, wind
way.
resistance tires them down, and the peloton always seems to catch up with them. And then it's really a sprint to the end when they get close to the finish line. But a couple of the stages actually finish at a summit, which is a little unusual to finish the race racing uphill at a very steep summit. And that will really test the racers and favor the guys who have the strongest quads that can climb those hills and mountain slopes.
When you were growing up, you had a bike, didn't you?
No,
You didn't have a bike.
I've
That's
had
un-American.
I had a bike even as an adult, but I rarely rode it, and so
You're
I don't have it
kidding.
anymore.
Well, that's how we got around as growing up. Well, you had a bike.
People don't do
didn't
that
you?
anymore,
I had
Roger.
bikes.
That's
Yeah.
I have a bike.
Terry, did you
I have
have
a trike now. I have a
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had bikes.
Yeah, I know you did.
Lots
As
of
a matter of
bikes.
fact, you still do. And isn't it time to take the training wheels off?
Well, I don't want to fall.
Well,
I hit
yeah.
my head once.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Yeah, you and Joe Biden.
That video was
Oh,
so
my.
embarrassing for the
Yeah, it
president.
didn't help his reelection chances. I think it led to him getting out of the race,
What do you
among
what do
other
you think
things.
physically was his worst moment?
Well, in the end, it was the debate where he mumbled
No,
and stumbled.
I mean physically.
Physically.
Yeah, not
Stairs, I guess.
to me. It was going up the stairs to the airplane.
Yeah.
You most people when they fall, it's down, not up, and he did it not once, but what 3 times?
Anybody can fall on a stair. I would give him that, but he did it multiple times.
Yeah.
In fact, 3 times on the same
The
stair.
same stair, yeah.
To prove it wasn't an accident.
But the one that I think struck me the strongest was when they filmed him walking on a beach, and he's taking these tiny little baby steps because he's afraid he's going to fall.
Well, sand is hard to walk in.
I understand
Yeah.
that, but most of us do a little better than Joe did.
Well, I know.
But yeah, to see him walk on the beach, it made him look. At the time, I think he was 80 or 81, but how old was he? Was he 82?
He was old.
Now? Yeah, he was born in
Yeah.
1942. So yeah, he I think was like 80 or 81 at the time, but he looked like he was 101.
Yeah.
Just
The really bad fall was like he was tackled. Was when he tripped over the sandbag at West Point.
Yeah.
I mean, he went down like
stage,
he was, a balloon that had been punctured. He went down quick, and then he turned around like, "How dare you trip me?" It's a sandbag. He had so many moments, and when you see that Jasmine Crockett saying, "I met with him, and boy, he was sharp as a tack."
tripling down on this claim that he was fine. He was just fine. Yeah. Well, come on.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mean to get into that. How about any more sports?
No, we don't have
Randy
any more
Couture.
sports. No.
Randy
that's all
Couture.
for-
That was kind of a sports. Right?
Yeah. The Randy Couture update.
That's catchy.
You know, it's Halloween is just around the corner, but when we talk about
Halloween.
work with me now.
October. Okay, we're there. Go ahead.
I want to talk about masks.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
I cannot understand, and I know when you get into a you know what contest politically, there are no boundaries or perhaps no rhyme or reason, but I can't understand why Democrats are pushing this
This
attitude
masking
about ICE not being able to wear a mask. I mean, what's next? ICE can't wear tennis shoes or boots
or
anymore,
a vest.
or they can't wear a belt.
I think
Uh,
you really do know why. They're doing it.
Well, are they that hard-hearted? Because you know that one of the reasons they wear a mask, and I heard a guy on cable TV said, "Isn't that interesting? It's okay for students at Columbia University and New York University and all the left-wing universities in the world
Any
wear masks
Yeah.
when they protest and burn down buildings and destroy this or that. It's okay to wear a mask, but when you have ICE agents who are arresting bad guys who, if they would get out on bail, which many of them do, um, and they have a way. As a matter of fact, there's even someone who went online with telephone numbers and addresses of ICE agents, so that if you had the desire to kill an agent, you know where he lives, you know how to call or threaten him. So why are they pushing that? To me, that is so insanely wrong that they may have support for their own party, in this case, the Democrat Party, but for those independent voters out there, they have to see that that is so wrong.
Yeah.
And
I don't get it.
they want to pass a bill. Now, the media isn't talking about this, but if they did pass a bill, which I don't think they will, because Republicans control the House and control the Senate, and that I think Republicans on that issue would be unified. I don't think anyone, whether it was Lisa Murkowski or Rand Paul, would jump ship on behalf of this measure. But it should go nowhere, and I don't think politically that's a winner for Democrats. Do you?
No.
Did you
No.
see any of the video of yesterday ICE and the DEA combined to raid a farm in California
Yes.
that was supposedly a marijuana farm? Now, it is legal to grow marijuana in California, but this was supposedly linked to the cartels in Mexico and was employing dozens of illegal aliens.
And as they found some children there as well.
And found unaccompanied, whatever you call it, without parents.
Unsupervised.
Look at what they're doing as they're driving away with some of the people that have been arrested. They're throwing boulders almost as big as a bowling ball at these cars. You see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
They are fighting literally a war against some of these deranged anti-ICE people.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand. Well, what's the mask policy here? Well, I'm just
No mask. No mask.
No, you can't wear
Yeah.
a mask. Okay.
You know, there was a time during the COVID-19, some people did who were on the show
Oh,
did
yeah.
put masks on. I didn't. I tried it, and I said, you know, yeah,
Oh,
there
boy.
was, you
Yeah,
know,
it
in
didn't work
addition to
for
the
you.
windscreens,
Yeah.
they had masks.
I did. If I went out, I did wear masks most of the
You
time.
did?
Well, yeah, just to not get into the.
You know, during even after, and maybe Dr. Sidler can say how effective it was. I would see people in cars with the windows rolled up wearing masks.
Well, I didn't do that.
How effective was that? It probably kept their dashboard free of spittle that was coming out of their mouths. But other than that, there's no study that confirmed any benefit to mask wearing, whether it be for protection against the mask wearer or for protection against spreading it to others. Every study now done that is legitimately accepted as a reliable study showed no benefit. Same with keeping people at home and closing schools. It turns out that more people caught COVID at home than they did at any other site other outside of the house. There was never any evidence that they were more at risk or could have caught it and gotten worse illnesses or more deaths by allowing them to go to school or to be in the workplace. Remember, they were shutting down stores, and usually it was
Sure.
the small businesses and the mom and pop shops, while Walmart was allowed to stay open.
I shut down 6 businesses.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, and it was all based on the complete absence of any science that showed any benefit to that. So yeah,
If we had a doctor telling us what to do.
Yeah.
So do you realize there's still people who wear masks in stores?
Yeah.
Well, and I want to
It's
say
big in
something,
Japan.
and then I thought, no,
It's big
if they
in
want to wear,
Small.
there's no downside to wearing a mask. If they want to wear a mask,
That's fine.
it's
Wear a mask,
okay.
yeah.
Well, it turns out there were downsides. By forcing
really?
kids to wear masks, it reduced their socialization and stunted their social growth, meaning interaction with other people. It affected language skills, and kids did more poorly on language studies after the pandemic. That is thought to be attributed to mask wearing in classrooms. Um, there was an increase in sinus and other types of infections, upper respiratory infections of perhaps more serious types like bacterial sinus infections and respiratory infections, probably because we just aren't ventilating our airways the normal way that we're supposed to be ventilating them. So yeah, there actually were probably more downsides
I
to the
didn't
wearing of
realize that.
masks.
Yeah. I know. I remember attending church, and there was a woman. She was an older woman. She had a mask on, and I wanted to say, the mask isn't doing you any good, but
There
you
you go.
don't want to tell someone.
I
You
see him.
upside the head with a purse.
I see him every once in a while now.
Yeah, you're
Very
right.
rare, but I still see
Every
somebody in
now
a
and
mask.
then you do.
And I
see-
wonder why. Maybe they've got some immune something. I don't know. I don't.
They probably have a
but
hickey on their lip.
maybe they got a thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
a
but
growth.
I've heard people say, well, if masks are don't do that, why do people wear masks in the surgery
Yes,
room?
I've heard that
surgery?
excuse many times from people, and it's for the exact opposite reason why you're trying to promote it for COVID. You're trying to say that you're going to spread it to other people. Well, in surgery, you wear it so that you don't like drip little droplets of your spit and snot
and-
down into an open surgical wound.
Were those two medical terms?
Well, there's
Snot-
Those are,
snot,
yes.
spit and
Snot-
snot. Yeah.
I took a course in snot and spit physiology. Yes.
You've got a degree in that, huh?
Well, yes. I mean, when you do,
Well, yeah. How the surgery go, doctor? It went very well. We did not drop any snot on
No
it.
snot or spit.
you also wear gloves. Well, why do they wear gloves? Well, because there's little places on your hand and your fingernails and such that can harbor bacteria, no matter how hard you scrub. And plus, skin replaces itself. How does it do that? By
By
shedding.
By shedding, we shed. Yeah.
Well, you don't want those skin cells in somebody else's wound. So, yeah. Does that mean we should all be wearing gloves out in public? No, of course not, because that has not got any benefit to the general public. So, yeah, it is specific for surgery and for nurses in the ICU dealing with wounds and starting IVs and so forth. Again, it has no relevance to why we should wear masks in public.
Years ago. Oh, the mask was the.
Yes,
the,
yeah. Yesterday I saw something on the couch, and it looked like a bug. And what do we use to scrape the bug? Our nail. And I scraped it, and it was a dead bug. I scraped it off and picked it up and threw it in the trash can. And I looked at my nail, and part of that dead bug was in my nail.
Okay.
So it's important that you complete the process by making sure the rest of that bug is out from under your
Yeah, you don't want
fingernail.
bug
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
fingernail. That's gross.
This portion of our program,
This dead bug portion.
yes, well, we cover the waterfront.
Right.
And our news headlines brought to you by Bob Manning, Senior Vice President, Financial Advisor with the Grandview Capital Group at Morgan Stanley in Peoria. For all your investment needs, call Bob Manning at 309-671-4653. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. Here's Terry.
The dangerous illegals are getting closer to central Illinois. The Department of Homeland Security has announced officers have captured in Council Bluffs, Iowa, an El Salvadoran wanted for 5 murders. Another M13 gang member on the run for dealing drugs was apprehended in Omaha, Nebraska. "We're not grabbing people off the streets," said an officer. "We're after the worst of the worst." In Peoria, 43-year-old Daniel Pace is going to prison for 60 years for beating and setting his girlfriend on fire. Prosecutors provided testimony about numerous incidents of violence against the women in his life, but he was only charged with a single count of aggravated battery and aggravated domestic battery that sent his current girlfriend to a local hospital for treatment of burns. Homeowners with State Farm insurance may want to start getting quotes from other companies because the Bloomington-based company has announced it's raising premiums. Effective Tuesday, July 15th, applicants for homeowners coverage will pay an increase of more than 27% over last year's rates. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz appeared before the House Oversight Committee last month. Apparently, he was nervous about his appearance because he spent $430,000 in taxpayer money prepping for the hearing. At least that's the word from the Minneapolis Star-Tribune newspaper, who said Walz paid $516 per hour to prepare for the questioning. 2 of Donald Trump's favorite personalities will face off in a San Francisco courtroom. Canned CNN host Don Lemon is suing Elon Musk because the billionaire hired him to be on his social media platform X and then fired him. Since no one likes Lemon, he started his own company and now appears on YouTube, like Breakfast with Roger and Friends. Nixon said Trump's tariffs were going to ruin the economy, but so far that hasn't happened. Wall Street reports more records yesterday as the Dow hit 44,650, up 192 points. NASDAQ also up at 20,630, and the S&P 500 closed at 6,280. Caterpillar was up $6.15 a share at $408.33, while John Deere jumped almost $10 a share, ending at $519.20. Protesters and rioters are permitted to wear masks in Massachusetts. But if a bill submitted by Democrat James Hawkins passes in the state legislature, law enforcement officers will not be able to wear the masks. They're called disguises by the liberal media. The movement comes after attacks on police officers and ICE agents in the country. Officials of the Heart of Illinois Fair are putting the finishing touches on this year's event at Expo Gardens. It all starts Tuesday with ribbon-cutting ceremonies at 4 p.m. While once again a carnival will be missing, there'll be other attractions for families throughout the balance of the week, such as a magic show, tractor pulls, motorsports, including the always popular Demolition Derby, a pie eating contest, and more. The annual event ends Saturday night, and it may well be the final Heart of Illinois Fair that began in 1949. And those are the headlines, Roger.
All right, thank you very kindly. You know, we learn early that hard work produces results, and that's why Realtor Kathy Reynolds is so successful. She works hard to get results for her clients seeking to sell and or buy their next home. Learn more from Kathy Reynolds of Brilliant Real Estate. Kathy's available as we speak at 309-696-2162.
Hey, Roger, today, 101 heat index is in the
Yes.
forecast for
Mhm.
today, which is not going to be very fun tonight. Rain in 73, maybe some popcorn rain this afternoon. Also tomorrow, rain 86. Tomorrow night, 68 for a low. And right now, I have 76 degrees at the wazoo.
What do you recommend, Dr. Sidler, particularly for older Americans, which I am part of that movement, that we do? Stay inside, go outside, drink plenty of water, don't engage in any physical activity.
Well, that part's important. Don't go outside and do your gardening and outdoor repair work in the hottest part of the day. Uh, Obviously, there's people who do have to work outdoors, and those people are at risk. They have to drink plenty of fluid, stay cool, stay out of the sun as best as you can. I have come to believe that people who work outdoors in this kind of heat, roofers and construction
Guys
workers,
working
road
on the
workers,
highway.
Top
so forth.
guys.
I
Yeah.
think I think you become more conditioned to tolerating that excessive heat and high humidity the more you do it. But for people who don't have that conditioning and aren't used to it, yeah, they're the ones that are much more at risk. And older people are more at risk when you hear about, heat tends to cause a lot of incidents where people can die. In their home because their house gets too overheated, and maybe they don't keep up with drinking fluids and so forth. We hear about these every once in a while. Uh,
Tell
the
us some early warning signs of heat. What do we call it? Heat
Yeah,
exhaustion
there's
or
a
heat or
spectrum
whatever?
of heat illnesses. It starts
Yeah.
first with just heat exhaustion. Um, that's where we tend to start to raise our body temperature a little bit. It causes a great deal of muscle fatigue and can cause confusion. And that's where the problem comes sometimes is that older people, sometimes get confused anyway. And you add to that a little bit of confusion due to the physical changes that go on with being overheated. And now they can, forget to turn their fans on or open the windows if they don't have air conditioning and try to get some ventilation or turn the air conditioner on. And so that can lead them to maybe start getting hotter and warmer inside and raising their body temperature even more. The signs are profuse sweating. Of course, we all know that as we get hotter, our body sweats. That's the body's way of cooling. It's kind of like what an air conditioner does. As fluid from our body evaporates, it cools the surface. But when we sweat profusely, water coats the surface and it changes that. Now the sweat can't evaporate directly off of the skin surface and it doesn't have any cooling effect anymore when we're drenching wet with sweat. And so that starts to become a problem. Um, the next stages lead to changes in how our body recognizes what it has to do, and that can lead to the more severe problems, including heat stroke, and that's where our body actually stops sweating. So if you see somebody that's overheated, has a body temperature above normal, which is about 98.5 or so, and they're not sweating, that could be a sign that they're in that much more serious
Oh,
stage
really?
where the brain has become altered and has turned off the signals to perspire. And that leads very quickly to the heat stroke. Heat stroke is where brain damage actually occurs.
Oh, gee.
Unlike a stroke that's due to blood vessels occluding, we call those vascular strokes, and they affect the area that blood vessel goes to. So you end up with a rather defined area of damage in the brain. Heat stroke kind of acts like sprinkling salt all over your brain in the sense that it distributes the damage kind of evenly all over in little spots here and
Really?
there. And
So you don't have a stroke on one side like you do with
exactly,
vascular.
you
It's
don't
just
show up with a paralysis or
Really?
speech deficit. You just show up with lots of
how hot
neurologic
how hot
deficiencies.
can you get? We're 98.5 roughly degrees.
Yeah.
How hot can you get before all this
Well,
happens?
temperatures of you see it in childhood illnesses and all that all the time. That the temperatures of 102, 103, even 104, they can make people feel very miserable, and kids can be very cranky. But it's not serious as long as you
Really?
You can reverse that. We have things nowadays like Tylenol, acetaminophen products, and Advil that can bring the temperature down. And that should be used if you see temperatures in that range of 102, 103, or 104. When it starts to get higher than that, it can be serious. 105, 106 is tolerable even for short
Really?
times.
When your
Yes.
kidneys shut down. I mean, that's
Well, yeah. When you get to 106 and above, I think that body temperatures have been recorded as high as 109, 110 in
really
emergency rooms, but those people end up dying. Yeah, because it does such damage to our organs and to our neurologic centers.
and you can get that from the sun, from being outside. You can get that hot. Your body
Can you get overheated just by being in the sun? Of course, yeah, I think you can.
you get
Yeah.
up to 105, 106.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. And of course it's made worse by doing physical exertion at the same time that you're out there in that heat. The one of the cases I saw of heat stroke was in a outdoor worker, a laborer. Uh, and he kept working, but when his coworkers were talking to him, he didn't respond. He didn't act right. They realized something was going on with him. They set him down.
That happens on this show.
And eventually they got him into the emergency room. His body temperature, I don't remember what it was. It was very high. Um, and he ended up being hospitalized for probably close to a month or more.
Oh my.
Because yeah, so many things that get damaged and then you need rehab and all that. Um, he lived several more years, but probably died eventually due to issues related to that heat
Do
stroke.
that episode as well.
Yeah.
Refine fluids. It's important to drink a lot of fluids. There are good fluids and bad fluids, I'm going to assume. Like beer, beer is not a
Well,
good fluid.
if there's
to
nothing
take.
else, beer actually is mostly water, and in that sense, it's probably going to do some good. But of course, the more beer you drink, alcohol is a vasodilator, a blood vessel dilator, which is going to probably mess up the body's heat regulating functions even more.
But you won't care.
Yeah, but you may not care about it.
At a certain point, you're right.
You know, really, any fluid has some positive benefits when you're overheated or when you're getting dehydrated.
Coffee is an
Water
example.
is probably maybe the best. Actually, probably Gatorade is the best because that's a balanced electrolyte solution.
There's some right there, Roger. Yeah.
Well, not so much just as a drink on the side for refreshment, but for dehydration because it's if you look on there, it's got some sodium
Some
chloride.
electrolytes.
Yeah, it's got
Sugar, you got
electrolytes,
it, yeah.
sodium and chloride. Well, when we sweat, we sweat salt.
Oh, no sugar.
And so we need to replace
Right.
that. Otherwise, if you just drink only pure water while you're sweating excessively, and this is what happens in those football summer camps.
Remember when they used to give salt
Yeah,
to football players in
they
practicing in
do
the summer?
sometimes. Although
What's the
now
salt
now
do
that
for
we
you?
have those sports
Yeah,
drinks,
what's
we
salt
don't
do?
see that.
That
as much.
holds moisture? Is that what the salt
No, it
does?
just replaces this.
Oh.
Your sweat is salty, right?
Well,
You're
yeah,
losing
okay,
salt. So if you then replace that with just water, it's diluting
The salt.
the salt in your bloodstream.
Okay.
And our body has to stay within an extremely narrow range of what is normal for things to function. And when you get outside that range, organ systems start to malfunction and maybe end up getting damaged.
Huh.
So something called hyponatremia, low sodium, can cause seizures and brain damage. It can cause muscle damage. It can cause heart arrhythmias. That's probably what is what causes
salty,
those athletes to die is a heart arrhythmia.
eating salty French fries, is that beneficial?
Well, if there's no other way to get salt, that would be one way. A bag of potato chips would even probably help for those guys that are outdoors sweating a lot and only have water to drink. Yeah, it would be a good thing. Nowadays, like I say, there's so much of these alternate sports drinks that have the electrolytes in them that we just don't see so much of that. But every once in a while, you still read about an athlete who dies We've had Terry Knapp here talk about a Northwestern football player. It's been probably 15, 20 years ago now.
His son actually.
It was at the same time that his son was there as a basketball player, but it was a football player during those spring workouts that got overheated and died. I guess it was spring or summer workouts. But there was also a Minnesota Vikings player about 20 years ago that died in the preseason due to getting overheated. And it just, and then, there's thousands and thousands of high school kids that do this kind of stuff, preparing for football season in the fall. And it does happen still. There's probably a couple of these. I think I read that there's an average of 4 to 5 of these kind of deaths due to overheating in sports in high school kids every year.
Yeah, isn't it a good way? I hate to bring this up, but we've talked about it before, so I feel comfortable that one way to make sure that you're getting enough water is by the color of your urine.
You can tell some of that by the color of urine. I would not suggest that you use that as your primary source of knowing what's going on in your body. But yeah, the more concentrated your blood is from being dehydrated, you're going to put out a much more concentrated urine, which is going to make it look much more dark orange, yellowish orange. You don't want to see that. You want to see a urine that's just maybe only slightly yellow, like we all see our urine normally look. But yeah, sure. That's the body trying to conserve water as best as it can, but still has to get rid of toxins and waste products. So it still has to excrete some urine. We talked about what happens when people go into heat stroke. They stop putting out urine altogether. You can
Was it shut down?
The kidneys will just shut down, and of course then that leads to other problems because there are the natural functions the kidneys are supposed to be doing, like getting rid of acids and metabolism byproducts and waste products of the body that we cannot allow to build up in our bloodstream, and when the kidneys shut down, that all starts to build up, and that adds to the complications of that dehydration state.
When you're older, what causes it to take so long for the faucet to open?
That's a different problem.
Oh, that's a different problem. Okay.
Yeah, I think women have a little bit of that, but it's mostly a male problem because of this thing called the prostate gland. It happens.
There goes the guy. That's all I hear about. The size of the walnut.
It's
so much brown.
Everybody's talking.
And it gets in the way of the bladder valve opening a little bit. In fact, it surrounds that valve, and if the prostate enlarges this way, it's also enlarging that way, constricting down around the outlet of the bladder. And so it just makes it a little slower getting started and a little harder to completely empty.
You gotta be kidding.
See, Terry, the things you don't have to deal with.
Yeah, we have our own share of stuff.
You thought childbirth was rough.
I avoided it.
This portion of our program was brought to you by the American Red Cross.
Every 2 seconds, somebody in America needs blood. You can help by donating blood at your local American Red Cross. Donating blood is easy. It only takes about an hour, and a single donation can help save more than one life. This is Alex O'Loughlin asking you to donate blood to help somebody in need. A friend, a neighbor, or somebody you haven't even met. Call your American Red Cross at 1-800-GIVE-LIFE or visit them at givelife.org. The need is constant. The gratification is instant. Give blood.
Think about everything that you save. You save gas, you save money, you save time. But have you ever thought about saving life? That's right, life. In just 1 hour, you could save up to 3 lives, giving 3 people more time with the ones they love. And isn't that the best thing to save? The need for blood is as universal as it is constant. Save life, give blood.
Today's forecast, Roger, 101 heat index. Yeah, regular temps would be around 93, 94 degrees. A little bit of popcorn rain here and there. Tonight, rain 73. Tomorrow, 86 and rain. Tomorrow night, low 68. Right now, it's 76 at the wazoo.
Yeah, we're talking a little health news. Is the measles concern gone away, or is it still hanging around?
Yeah, I read the medical kinds of stories that show up in the media every few days, and it's been pretty consistently dominated by stories about measles. Nationwide, there are more measles cases this year than there has been in 33 years. Since 1992, I think, was the last year that the measles cases were this high. And that's because most people in America are vaccinated, and we just don't see measles very often anymore. It turns out, though, that most of these cases are in West Texas and in New Mexico. And that's because there's a very conservative Mennonite community that lives in West Texas that is opposed to vaccination. So their kids are not vaccinated. And there's thousands and thousands of these people living there. And that's where most of these cases have occurred. There's also a lot of immigrants, and we know that immigrants that come into this country don't follow the same immigration protocols that we do here in the U.S., and so many of them are not vaccinated, and that is accounting for most of the cases. But now it is spreading. There's like 8 cases in Missouri. I'm just looking now. There's 10 cases that have been reported in Illinois of measles. Now, most people are vaccinated and are immune, and so it's really not a danger to become widespread in Illinois. We don't have a population here in Illinois of people that are opposed to vaccines. Yeah, there's some anti-vaxxers are spread all through the communities, so there's always a chance that some people might be at risk. There was a big outbreak in New York City 7 or 10 years ago among Orthodox Jews because there are sects of very Orthodox, strict Jewish population that are opposed to vaccines and are exempt from their kids getting vaccinated. But again, we don't see that here in Illinois. So it will probably continue to be a problem in this country now because there are more people going. Yeah, again, it all kind of stems a little bit from the COVID thing that people that we talked about this term now, vaccine fatigue. There are more and more people who are becoming kind of suspicious and leery about vaccines, and trying to get their kids opted out of mandatory vaccination for measles.
Okay.
There's no concern. I mean, I've looked and looked to see if there are any reports of anybody suggesting that there's a danger in the measles vaccine. It's not the mRNA vaccine. It's an old standard type of vaccination technology, and it appears to be totally safe. Doesn't contain mercury or any of these things that people were worried about as connected to autism, even though studies don't seem to support that. But there's still more people today, I think, that are suspicious about vaccines, and so measles is kind of with us in this country. You'll continue to see these articles about it, but it's just not going to be a real big problem. I don't think anybody here in our listening audience or viewing audience now we can talk about that. I don't think anybody has anything to worry about.
What are the symptoms? Because it hasn't been around a while. So what are some basic symptoms we'll look at?
Well, measles is usually going to affect children, but it can affect adults. It shows up initially as a high fever, and then follows with a patchy red rash all over the body.
Oh, just a rash.
Did you have measles when you were a kid?
You know,
everybody had measles.
I had, yeah, I guess. I had chickenpox, terrible. And I think I had all the stuff.
Which ones?
I don't know if you can see these. These are pictures of measles.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of worst case scenario where you get the spotty red.
It's not life threatening, right? It's not life threatening.
It can be.
1 to 3 out of every 1,000
3 out of every 1,000.
Yeah, like one out of 1,000 or as many as 3 out of 1,000 can die from it, because measles can damage the kidneys. It can cause, there's something called measles encephalitis where it can get into the brain, and it can cause life-threatening problems. So, it's not to be taken lightly, but those odds are pretty good if it's a healthy person that they're going to do okay and survive it okay. But it used before vaccines, and again, vaccines have only been with us 50 years or so for measles. Now kids get it in the form of something called an MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella, which is the German measles. It's a different virus. So some people raising kids now probably know it as MMR. They don't even realize they're getting measles vaccination, but that's what it is. Before that,
well, that's not 3 different diseases. That's not measles, mumps, and rubella.
That's 3 different diseases. Yes, but in it is the measles vaccine.
Okay.
But like I say, when people go to the doctors and I've had people say, "Well, my son wasn't vaccinated for measles, but they got the MMR." Yeah, it's a thing. It is measles.
So mumps coming back too, then maybe?
No, mumps not coming back.
Oh,
there's still always a few cases of mumps that show up, but no, it's not a problem.
When you're talking about chickenpox, is that a relative of the shingles?
Well, it's the same family of virus, the herpes virus family. Yes, what we used to call the varicella virus, the chickenpox virus, it turns out is the same virus as herpes zoster, which is shingles. So when you have when you have chickenpox and you get over it, it never goes away. It's kind of like the herpes.
It's still hanging around.
Yeah, it's kind of like the herpes cold sores. That's herpes simplex, a different herpes virus, but it's still the same family. It goes away, but it's still hiding out there, and that's why shingles and that's why cold sores can come back again recurrently. Shingles can too. It's hiding out. We think it hides out in our spinal fluid. And that's why it picks a nerve to spread down and come around the body or up the neck and into the face, down an arm or a leg. It can just pick a nerve and come to the surface through that nerve. Shingles is an awful disease to have, but it's not fatal, and people get over it okay.
Yeah, particularly if you spot the symptoms early.
And if you see it early,
what are the symptoms?
The symptoms at first is just kind of a tingling or pain, or funny sensation around the side of the body, up the neck or down the arm or leg, on one side of the body. It stays on one side of the body because the body's nerve systems are sort of divided into 2 halves, and so if it is just on one side of the body, and then after a day or two, a red rash starts to appear, and after another day or two, they start to turn into blisters and get very painful. Usually painful. Some people don't get pain with the shingles. It's kind of hard to understand, but they don't. Some people just get itching and no pain.
Yeah, and you can get a vaccine for it now. It's a little on the pricey side. I don't think Medicare covers it anymore, does it?
It's 2 vaccines, I think, isn't it?
Well, there was an initial one. It turns out it wasn't real effective, but now the Shingrix is the one that came out about 3 years ago as a new one, and it's much more effective, maybe 70 to 80% effective, which is still pretty good odds for a vaccine. The flu virus, for example, is usually only around 60 to 70% effective. But yeah, there's a vaccine that helps prevent you from getting it. It is expensive, but most Medicare supplements and Medicare Advantage does cover it. Medicare itself doesn't, because it considers it a drug, so you have to have Medicare Part D. You have to buy that extra Part D, or again, maybe get it through a Medicare Advantage plan. It's about $300 or
something. Is it 2 injections still?
The Shingrix, I think it's just 1 injection.
Oh, it's just 1 now. Okay.
I believe.
It sounds like you haven't. Have you had the shot?
I have not.
Okay.
Shingrix came out after I retired, so I don't know. The first one.
So you can't get us a deal on it you can't get us a deal on it if we would want.
I'm sorry, I cannot.
I heard the other day, matter of fact, from a doctor who said you can get certain shot, and if you get it at his office, it costs, but if you go to CVS, it's free. I had not heard that before.
Yeah.
And if you get to go to Big Ray, the oil change,
First of all,
you pay.
CVS doesn't give anything away for free.
I was
No, but it was cheaper, I think.
They will bill your
Yeah.
insurance. So they will, if you have a Medicare Advantage or insurance that covers it, that's what they're billing, and they're not charging you any copay or
I see.
or deductible
Yeah.
or anything like that. So it comes out looking like it's free, but they're making money. In the case of COVID, they were being paid by the government. You remember the government put
Yeah.
like $1.2 trillion into this COVID thing, and they were paying people to give the COVID vaccine. So yeah, you could get the COVID for free, but it was still being paid.
Okay.
What?
We continue with news, weather, sports coming
I
up
love
on
this medical
Breakfast with Roger and Friends on WAZU FM 90.7 in wonderful Peoria, Illinois. Pleasant good morning, everybody. It's Friday, July 11th, and we begin with a check of the weather. And the weather this morning is brought to you by our friends at Peoria Pet Crematory. You know, losing a pet affects just about everyone. The caring people at Peoria Pet know that. That's why they're available 24/7 to help you through the grieving process, offering several choices for care and remembrance. Keep the phone number handy for Peoria Pet Crematory, 309-713-1898.
Sunny and hot, high 93 today. Possible popcorn showers tonight. Showers and thunderstorms, low 73 tomorrow. High 86. Good chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night. Maybe some more rain. Low 68 right now. It's 76.
And now we have the news presented by your hometown community banks division of Merton Community Bank. Employee owned and local operated. You can still choose a hometown bank at hometownbanks.com. Member FDIC.
The bad and dangerous illegals are getting closer to central Illinois. The Department of Homeland Security has announced officers have captured, in Council Bluffs, Iowa, an El Salvadoran wanted for 5 murders. Another M13 gang member on the run for dealing drugs was apprehended in Omaha, Nebraska. "We're not grabbing people off the streets," said an officer. "We're after the worst of the worst."
In Peoria, 43-year-old Daniel Pace is going to prison for 60 years for beating and setting his girlfriend on fire. Prosecutors provided testimony of numerous incidences of horrific violence against the women in his life. He was only charged with a single count of aggravated battery and aggravated domestic battery that sent his current girlfriend to a local hospital for treatment for burns.
Attention homeowners with State Farm Insurance. You may want to start getting quotes from other companies because the Bloomington-based company has announced it's raising premiums. Effective Tuesday, July 15th, applicants for homeowners coverage will pay an increase of more than 27% over last year's rates. When that happens, it usually means it's had to pay some heavy losses. When they lose, so do you.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz appeared before the House Oversight Committee last month. Apparently, he was a little bit nervous about his appearance because he spent $430,000 in taxpayer money prepping for the meeting. That's the word from the Minneapolis Star Tribune newspaper, who said Walz paid $516 an hour to be prepared for questioning.
2 of Donald Trump's favorite personalities will face one another in a San Francisco courtroom. And CNN host Don Lemon is suing Elon Musk because the billionaire hired him to be on his social media platform X and then fired him. Since no one likes Lemon, he started his own company and now appears on YouTube, like Breakfast with Roger and Friends.
They said Trump's tariffs were going to ruin the economy, but so far that hasn't been the case. Far from it. Wall Street reports more records as the Dow hit 44,650. That was up 192 points. NASDAQ also up. It was closed at 2630, and the S&P 500 closed at 6280. Caterpillar stock was up to $6.15 a share to $408.33, while John Deere jumped almost $10 a share, ending at $519.20.
Protesters and rioters are permitted to wear masks in Massachusetts. But if a bill submitted by Democrat James Hawkins passes in the state legislature, law enforcement officers will not be able to wear the masks. They're called disguises by the liberal media. The movement comes after attacks on police officers and ICE agents in the country. Such a state ban becomes a challenge between federal and local law. Can state law supersede federal provisions?
Officials of the Heart Illinois Fair are putting the finishing touches on this year's event at Expo Gardens. It all starts Tuesday with ribbon cutting ceremonies at 4 p.m. While once again the carnival will be missing, there'll be other attractions for families throughout the balance of the week, such as legerdemain.
What was that?
There'll be a lot of legerdemain there. Some prestidigitation, some tractor pulls, motorsports, including the always popular demolition derby, pie eating contest, and more. The annual event ends Saturday night, and it may well be the last one. Do you know what legerdemain is?
Oh, I don't.
Prestidigitation. Have you heard of that?
No.
I've
And I thought prestidigitation was sleight of hand. It's not. Prestidigitation just means magic in general. Legerdemain means manipulation with your hands, such as a card trick or something like that.
Are you good at that?
No, I don't perform magic. I don't.
You do.
I have to see magic. I go to the magic meetings certain time. I have several friends that are magicians, but I don't perform magic.
When I was a kid, I bought a box.
Yeah. Magic box.
To be magic. And I had a relative came to town. My dad, Leroy was his name, from Sullivan or maybe Bethany, Illinois, whatever. And his wife performed at the Dad's Club sponsored it at Kingman Grade School.
Mm-hmm.
And then they came and spent the night at our house and then moved on. And he told how some of the tricks were. And I asked him, how about the one about shoving the sword through the box with the wife on inside? How do you do that? And he said, you're not going to know that.
Very carefully.
Yeah.
Very
But I've always been fascinated. What is the difference between a magician and an illusionist?
Well, I don't know what the definition
was it David Copperfield? Didn't he promote himself as an illusionist versus a
first
magician?
Of all, the term magician suggests you're doing magic. And there really is no such thing as magic.
Well, there's a song. We've heard the song. It's magic.
You believe in magic? Do you
Yeah.
believe in magic?
Yeah. There's also a magic marker and a magic eraser.
Yeah.
Well,
by the way,
there really is no actual magic. It's all illusion, right?
Well, I guess that would be correct. Yes, that's that's
an illusion. What do you mean it's all illusion? What is illusion?
It's different than it really is, like sticking a sword through a box and not stabbing
or someone
the girl.
disappears. I don't know if they really do disappear. They're somewhere.
There are now websites that show how they do all of these.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about the magic world. They really kept a lot of secrets for many years.
Remember when they had the TV show with the guy with the mask on?
Yeah.
That showed how they did some of them.
What was his name? They came up.
He ended up eventually becoming known public. But yeah, there were magicians all over the country that were just really upset by that.
Oh yeah.
Now a 14-year-old kid will tell you how Penn and Teller does all their tricks. It's too bad because they kept it a secret for a long time. I still have some friends that are magicians, and I'll ask them, and if they've bought the trick, which are very expensive sometimes, they won't tell you. They'll say, no, I really can't tell you. Now, I go to some magic meetings and kind of in with the group and pay my dues or whatever. So there's a little bit more information that I can get than maybe
share that.
I can't, Roger. I just can't.
Who was the famous
Give me
magician,
$10, I'll tell you anything.
Houdini, who actually died doing one of his tricks.
Well, there's a lot of controversy over how he died.
Yeah.
He died of a ruptured appendix.
Right. But it's what he was
made worse because he got punched in the stomach.
That was the story.
Right.
That he
Yeah.
Well, that's
Because he was the one that would get in the box and they put chains and a lock on it and throw it into the water.
So that's an escape artist, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
he did
yeah.
that.
But he
That
did
was
did
one
that.
of his
Mhm.
tricks.
And then there's mentalism. That's real big now
Mhm.
in the magic world. Mentalism, where
Yeah,
they
when you
mind reading or whatever.
perform an act that suggests you can read somebody's mind or know something that they have no way of knowing. Yeah.
And then you had the tricks of the merry-go-round in downtown Peoria.
Different
That
trick,
was-
Roger.
yeah.
Totally
All
different.
the good different.
Totally
I'm
different.
not,
Yeah, that was
familiar
a-
with
That
those.
trick cost more money. That totally different.
So one's very popular.
Well, it was popular.
And then, of course, you had remember the song by
What's
Doris, which was "It's Magic." She had a beautiful voice.
You saw the sun
beautiful stretching it.
you speak, and I hear violin.
She had an okay
It's
voice.
magic.
It wasn't the greatest, I don't think. It's
The
just
like most
stars descend
post-war
the sky.
popular singer. Well, I guess she was popular even pre-war.
Yes, she was. A
that-
guy is a guy, and a girl is a girl.
Yeah,
was one of his favorite.
You
I
know,
love
as
Good
long
Woman.
as she had accompaniment and music behind her, she sounded great.
She was like the girl next door, and she was big with animal rights too, was she not?
The Chevy was that her big?
Yeah, the ship.
Dinah Shore.
Dinah Shore.
Oh, it's a different blonde. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Get confused over.
And she sang, but she couldn't hold the piano.
She probably made most of her wealth in the movies once she became a movie
Doris
star.
Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The Rock Hudson, Doris Day movie.
Oh, that's right.
Became
yeah.
very popular in the 50s and 60s.
And he was gay, right?
Well, so what?
No, I don't care. But I mean, he was the big ladies' man
he
and
was.
big lady man, and
The
he
studios
really,
kept it very quiet,
Yeah.
of course.
Very
because
quiet.
I
they
mean, not
thought
that there's
there
anything
were
wrong with that.
reasons,
I just,
Well, in the meantime, let's have the news from WCBU.
From the WCBU newsroom, I'm Allie Cooper. The city of Peoria is updating its existing whistleblower protection policy to stay consistent and compliant with state law. City Attorney Patrick Hayes says the Whistleblower Protection Act allows employees to refuse to violate state or federal law and to file complaints when laws are violated.
Our employees have enjoyed these protections to date. I can't recall an episode where this issue's been brought to my attention where someone feels for our organization they need the protection of this act, but it's good that it's there.
The state legislature's recent amendment of the Whistleblower Protection Act clarifies and expands the definitions of several terms, such as employer, employee, and retaliatory action. The City Council has received and filed a first reading of the ordinance update, with a vote to come at a future meeting. Congressman Darren LaHood says cuts to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, and work requirements for Medicaid eligibility are reasonable starts to paring down deficit spending. The Central Illinois Republican says the work requirements will help 4.5 million people in the U.S. to find jobs.
Our social safety net, it should be a trampoline and not a hammock.
LaHood says there are 9 million unfilled jobs in the U.S. Critics of the cuts say many Medicaid recipients do not qualify for those jobs and that the reductions will increase hunger in the nation. Well, an East Peoria dentist has been identified as the man who died in a skydiving accident earlier this week in LaSalle County. According to LaSalle County officials, the coroner's office was called to Skydive Chicago in Ottawa, Illinois on Monday for a report of a male deceased in a skydiving accident. He was identified as 48-year-old Dr. Noel Liu of East Peoria. An autopsy was conducted on Tuesday. Results are still pending, and officials say further forensic and toxicology testing is required before a final report. The incident is still under investigation by the LaSalle County Coroner's Office and the LaSalle County Sheriff's Office. The National Transportation Safety Board and the Federal Aviation Administration are also involved in the investigation. I'm Allie Cooper, WCBU News.
And we continue our coverage as we turn to the world of sports. And Dr. Gene Sidler, good morning. Brought to you by BradleyFans.com.
Thank you, Roger. And we'll start first with baseball scores. The Chicago Cubs beat the Minnesota Twins yesterday, 8-1. Pete Crow Armstrong had 2 home runs, giving him 25 homers on the season. He's now tied with Seiya Suzuki for the team lead. Cubs are really banging that ball around, and that's good to see. The Cubs are in New York City tonight, and they'll play the Yankees, start of a 3-game series in the Yankee Stadium. St. Louis Cardinals won. They beat the Washington Nationals last night, 8-1, the same score. Cardinals will host the Atlanta Braves for a series starting tonight down in St. Louis. And the Chicago White Sox game against the Cleveland Guardians up in Chicago was postponed last night due to a heavy rainstorm. That will be made up today as part of a split doubleheader with games at 2:10 p.m. and 7:10 p.m. White Sox versus Cleveland Guardians. And the Peoria Chiefs lost to the Cedar Rapids Colonels 9-4. Last night. The Chiefs will play a doubleheader tonight, and that's to make up for the rainout of Tuesday night's game, and they'll continue that series on through Sunday. We've got an update on Wimbledon tennis in the women's semifinals yesterday. A huge upset. 23-year-old American Amanda Anisimova shocked the number 1 ranked player in the world, Arina Sabalenka of Belarus, with upset. She won her semifinal match in 3 sets, 6-4, 4-6, and 6-4 to advance to the championship match of Wimbledon on Saturday. She's the first American woman to reach the final since Serena Williams in 2019. And she will play number 8 seed Iga Swiatek, who easily beat her opponent yesterday's Belinda Bencic of Switzerland. The championship match will be on ESPN at 10 a.m. tomorrow. There'll be a rebroadcast at 2 p.m. on ABC. And the men's singles, well, they were off yesterday, but they play their semifinal matches today, and their championship will be Sunday morning. Their first match is the number 5 seed American Taylor Fritz, and he'll be up against number 2 seeded Carlos Alcaraz, who's been the Wimbledon winner the last 2 years. That game is now started and is ongoing, and the second match that'll come along about 10 o'clock our time is number 1 seed Yannick Sinner looking to get his first Wimbledon championship against number 6 seeded Novak Djokovic, who is going for his record-tying 8th championship. So that should be also a good match. And the only other thing I've been reporting is the Tour de France. It's underway this week. Stage 6 was yesterday, won by Irish rider Ben Healy. And the overall leader after 6 stages is Dutch rider Matthew van der Poel. The Tour favorite, though, is Tadej Pogacar of Slovenia. He is in second place and doing very well. I think he will catch up and overtake the number 1 rider here when they get into the more mountainous stages. Highest ranking American as of now is Matteo Jorgensen, who is in 6th place, 1:22 back. And one note about NCAA basketball, the NCAA tournament committee has been meeting this week and has been considering expanding the postseason tournament from 68 teams to 72 or 78 teams. There's pros and cons. There's some schools for it, some schools against it. They have not come to a conclusion, and they've adjourned for now. They will get back together probably in the fall and continue discussing this. So if indeed it does get changed, it probably won't be done at the end of the 25-26 season. It'll probably take effect in the following season because they just couldn't come to a conclusion here with the first set of meetings. So,
do you know what the makeup of that NCAA committee is? I'm asking. I know that Chris Reynolds is
Yes.
a member.
He was a member of the committee for about 6 years, and he was the chairman of the committee for 2 of those years.
Is
and
he still on
he's off the committee. No, he is now off the committee. I believe the names are public and they're on the NCAA website. It's been a year or so since I looked at them, but I think there is somebody that represents the Missouri Valley Conference that's on the committee. Most of the committee members are from what we call the power conferences, ACC, SEC, Big 10, and Big 12.
Yes.
Those 4 mainly. But there are several from smaller schools. They are either athletic directors or high-level administrators from those schools that make up that committee that are members of the NCAA Division I. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is that sports?
That is.
All right, I have a question for you, and actually a question for the panel this morning. What famous basketball coach is considering running for the U.S. Senate.
Charles Barkley.
You are close. You're very, very close. But he has, Charles Barkley, he has announced that if this coach, who is still coaching in the college ranks, does indeed make a decision to run, Charles Barkley said, I will support him. I know him. I like him. And I think he would be an excellent senator.
Oh, it's a coach. He's now a coach.
Yeah, it's a coach.
Yes, I did say that a little earlier, but
I didn't listen.
I know. Yeah, I have that problem.
Is he currently still coaching?
Yes. Said that.
Don't ask any more questions.
Yeah,
I guess. I'm just gonna have a heart attack.
Is he in the South?
Yes.
No more questions.
Is he in the SEC?
Yes. I think.
Is it a Kentucky coach?
No.
I
And you know, I think he may have coached at Iowa at one time. I think. I don't know whether that helps you get the answer or not.
Well, Fran McCaffrey was the Iowa coach for a long time. He's now at.
I don't want to hear about him.
I think he's at Albany now. No, I'm not coming up with a name.
Okay. His initials are, and you watch, Terry will probably get it. She's sitting back like, wow, it's a sports question, but I'm listening. His initials are you ready? BP.
Brian.
No, Brian.
Ben.
The first.
Well, it can't be Billy Packer because he's about.
No.
In fact, I think he's dead.
Don't go down that road.
It can't be Bobby Parker, former Bradley
no, he's not
SID.
running for that.
No, he won't be running.
Remember, it's South.
Why? That should give it to us, but
I know it should be. His last name is similar to something that women love to get in the form of a necklace or jewelry. Okay.
Oh, Bruce Pearl.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he's the Auburn head coach.
That's right. And he is thinking about running for the U.S. Senate.
He was an assistant at Iowa.
Wasn't he at Iowa? I thought so.
He became.
I tried.
Yeah, and remember he accused Illinois of tampering with Deion Thomas.
He's not well liked.
Deion Thomas was a highly recruited player out of Chicago that Illinois ended up getting, but who had kind of leaned toward Iowa, but then suddenly switched to Illinois. And at that time, Bruce Pearl was the guy recruiting him at Iowa. He accused
of tampering.
Who am I thinking of? The comb over guy at Illinois.
Harry Combs.
Oh no.
The comb over guy.
Yeah.
I know who you
didn't
mean.
get along with Bobby Knight.
Yeah.
Who am I thinking of?
Oh yes. What is this?
This is the senior moment here. We'll get it.
Screaming in their car. Right?
But yeah, he accused the Illinois coach of tampering.
Yes.
Nothing was ever proven. But
Kevin says Lou Henson.
Oh yes, that's who it is.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, he accused Lou Henson of tampering, and that produced a feud that went on for a long time between them.
So what's this guy running for? What's his program?
Well, he's thinking about running for U.S. Senate.
Oh,
I believe that would be a state of Georgia.
as a
Alabama.
Didn't you say coaching at Auburn?
Yes.
Isn't that in Alabama?
Yes.
The last time I checked. Yeah.
Then he'd have to be.
She
would be in.
Well,
Albany.
Hillary was from Illinois and ran for Senator New York.
Well, she moved to New York.
But you're right.
You
I
have to have a
believe.
certain amount of time.
I'll tell you what. Isn't it Tupperville who's stepping down as a U.S. senator?
Tommy Tuber.
Who?
No, is it Tuberville or Tuberville?
Tuberville just got elected.
Well, then who is it then?
Mitch McConnell is stepping
Well, he's
down.
Kentucky. This is Alabama.
Who's the other Alabama senator? Is that young woman? Katie Britt is the other Alabama senator, and she's in her first term, so she's not stepping down either.
Is he moving? Is he going to move?
I don't know what that would be. Let me see if I can find it here.
What party is he affiliated with?
So maybe Tommy Tuberville has announced his intention to run for governor, leaving a potential opening.
I knew what I was talking about.
And Charles Barkley has openly suggested a possible run, and now
I don't think I'm ready for the funny part.
I don't think he doesn't know what he's doing.
Recent speculation that Bruce Pearl, he has not apparently said anything,
but he's not opposed to running.
Well,
he has been an outspoken supporter for Israel and for President Donald Trump.
I think he's Jewish.
Bruce Pearl is Jewish,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
That is true.
Let's hear it again for Roger. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
That would be interesting. He'd probably have to take a salary cut because I suspect they're paying him a few $1 million. He's probably one of the higher paid coaches in the country.
He gets on the inside trading stuff if he gets elected.
That's true. Somehow all of those senators do manage to increase their wealth by hundreds.
Not only senators, but who has made more money on apparently inside trading than anyone in the history of
are her initials NP?
Yes.
Oh yeah, Nancy. Oh, there was a website that showed all of her trades.
Oh, I've seen a graph even where people have graphed her net worth over the course of her career, and it's like a rocket ship, you know.
Her assets increased. Is it 48 million? Well, she was in the House of Representatives.
Her assets.
I think her wealth is estimated somewhere around 85 million or something. I can look up and see what different websites say.
Well, while you look that up, let's bring people up to date with
114.
What was that number again, Senator?
$114,662,521 net worth.
That's a lot of assets.
Yes, it is. All right, let's have our final check of the news brought to you this morning by Advanced Medical Transport, Central Illinois, in a time of need. AMT, the great people at AMT, will be there in a matter of minutes with the most skilled and advanced pre-hospital care possible. AMT, dedicated to providing a better life through better health. The headlines brought to you with Terry.
The dangerous illegals are getting closer to Central Illinois. The Department of Homeland Security has announced officers have captured in Council Bluffs, Iowa, an El Salvadoran wanted for 5 murders. Another M13 gang member on the run for dealing drugs was apprehended in Omaha, Nebraska. "We're not grabbing people off the streets," said an officer. "We're after the worst of the worst." In Peoria, 43-year-old Daniel Pace is going to prison for 60 years for beating and setting his girlfriend on fire. Prosecutors provided testimony about numerous incidents of violence against the women in his life, but was only charged with a single count of aggravated battery and aggravated domestic battery that sent his current girlfriend to our local hospital for treatment of burns. Homeowners with State Farm Insurance may want to start getting quotes from other companies because the Bloomington-based company has announced it's raising premiums. Effective Tuesday, July 15th, applicants for homeowners coverage will pay an increase of more than 27% over last year's rates. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz appeared before the House Oversight Committee last month. Apparently, he was nervous about his appearance because he spent $430,000 in taxpayer money prepping for the hearing. That's the word from the Minneapolis Star-Tribune newspaper, who said Walz paid $516 per hour to prepare for the questioning. 2 of Donald Trump's favorite personalities will face off in a San Francisco courtroom. Canned CNN host Don Lemon is suing Elon Musk because the billionaire hired him to be on his social media platform X, and then fired him. Since no one likes Lemon, he started his own company, and now appears on YouTube like Breakfast with Roger and Friends. just like us. Critics said Trump's tariffs were going to ruin the economy, but so far that hasn't happened. Wall Street reports more records yesterday as the Dow hit 44,650, up 192 points. NASDAQ was also up at 20,630, and the S&P 500 closed at 6,280. Caterpillar was up $6.15 a share to $408.33, while John Deere jumped almost $10 a share, ending at $519.20. Protesters and rioters are permitted to wear masks in Massachusetts. But if a bill submitted by Democrat James Hawkins passes in the state legislature, law enforcement officers will not be able to wear the masks. They're called disguises by the liberal media. The movement comes after attacks on police officers and ICE agents in the country. Officials of the Heart of Illinois Fair are putting the finishing touches on this year's event at Exposition Gardens. It all starts Tuesday with ribbon-cutting ceremonies at 4 p.m. Well, once again, a carnival will be missing. There'll be other attractions for families throughout the balance of the week, such as a magic show, tractor pulls, motorsports including the always popular Demolition Derby, a pie eating contest, and more. The annual event ends Saturday night, and it may well be the final Heart of Illinois Fair that began in 1949. And those are the headlines, Roger.
Come on, because the only Heart of Illinois Fair.
What do you
That
think
was
the
kind of
attendance will be this year? Probably not much.
Not
maybe.
much, but we're going to be, and we encourage people to go.
Well, yeah,
support
you
it.
need to go. It's the last time.
Yeah,
A little memory.
probably.
I'll go get a
But
corn dog.
let's not be
Corn dog and
premature.
lemonade.
Let's not. Yeah, I wonder if they'll have Bill's Lemonade or Ted's or Bob's. You know, Alwyn's they sell Bill's Lemonade. I believe it's.
Yes, they
don't you have
franchise that.
Don't you have to sign?
There's a franchise.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
What was the family? Not Bailey.
The Alwyn.
No, the local family that owns the Bill's Lemonade.
Well, I have no idea.
They used to own Peoria Crystal Ice Company. They were in the ice business, and now they have Bill's Lemonade. Oh, what the heck is that?
Because Weaver's.
Does Weaver's sell it?
Weaver's restaurant sells
No.
Bill's Lemonade.
Yeah, but they franchised that.
Well, I know because they had an event where vendors in Tremont at the park, and there was a young lady who pulled up in her wagon, and she was selling Bill's Lemonade.
That's a franchise. The the Barclays franchised that.
Is the main ingredient of that sugar?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, pretty much.
Yeah, lemons and sugar.
That's all it takes.
Pretty much.
So why don't we start Rogers Lemonade?
Well, they perfected. They just came out. I think it was just maybe right before COVID. I think with a mixture, so you could buy the powder and you can mix it. But they were in some Disney locations that they did quite well.
Yeah. All right, let's find out about the weather. Brought to you by Sam Lilly and Associates. Sam has been involved in helping people make decisions about choices for insurance for over 30 years. He's kind of the dean of independent insurance agents in the area, and he can help you make your decisions by calling 309-245-4374. Sam Lilly and Associates, 309-245-4374.
Another hot one today, Roger. 101 on the heat index and probably some rain. Tonight, rain 73. Tomorrow, 86 and rain. Tomorrow night, 68. Right now, 76 at the Wazoo.
Today's Pet Tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles, and of course, cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little-known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. Do not feed cats milk. I know it's what we've grown up seeing in cartoons, storybooks, and on greeting cards, but it's not good for cats. Cow's milk will cause diarrhea or vomiting in many cats and kittens, and not all, but quite a few. You won't know if your cat is one of those until you give them some milk and see what happens. If your cats can drink cow's milk without having diarrhea or vomiting, it's fine then to give them a little as a treat, say no more than 2 or 3 tablespoons. As for feeding it to very young kittens, it's not good to replace much of their standard diet with cow's milk because it is not nutritionally complete. I would not give cow's milk to a kitten under the age of 4 months and then only a small amount. If you find yourself suddenly with orphaned kittens and can't get to the store, there are many recipes for kitten formula on the internet which begin with cow's milk but add other things to make them more nutritionally complete. If you are bottle feeding a kitten, you should really buy a kitten formula product like kitten milk replacement. It's what all rescue groups use and is easily found in many different stores in the pet section. As always, consult your veterinarian for his advice if you have any problems or concerns. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios, produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's pet tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Well, thank you, Louis Linder, with all the latest on our pet tip of the day. And one of our favorite pets has just arrived on the scene, and that is the one and only Kyle Bartle.
It is a compliment. Thank you.
Compliment.
Good morning. Friends.
Good to see you.
Leash in the car. How are you?
Is this going to be one of the hottest days of the year?
Not one of the hottest days of the year, but it's certainly going to feel steamy and certainly feel sultry. So we have some cloud cover from those decaying thunderstorms that passed. Well, they actually affected us between about 1:30 and 3:30 this morning. If you guys heard it, and if you didn't hear it, you certainly saw some precipitation in your driveway or maybe on your streets. So those decaying clouds, those outflows, have actually led to some pretty pronounced cloud cover this morning. But we do expect the clouds to burn off. The sun will come out in great force by midday hours. No, today.
Yeah, the
By
sun will come
the
out.
midday hours, yeah.
Come on.
And that's going to really start cooking things up. The frontal boundary, which is the real trigger, is back in Iowa. Now, some things have changed since yesterday. So we have this mesoscale convective complex develop over Nebraska. Last night, we also had another one develop over eastern Iowa, which spouted off those late night thunderstorms. Because usually with the popcorn thunderstorms, they die out when the sun goes down. Well, this MCV, this mesoscale vortex complex, spouted off those storms after 9, 10 o'clock at night, and they started to do a training effect. So now we have flash flood watches, we have flash flood warnings for our friends north of I-80. Well, because so much of that precipitation or water vapor available, so we call it PWAT, precipitation water atmospheric potential. Because so much of it has already been absorbed north of I-80, do we see now the storms fire south of I-80? Now, whatever's going to happen is going to start in Iowa. This is an absolute certainty. So is it going to be between Des Moines? Is it going to be between Iowa City, Ottumwa? Where do these storms happen? How do they fire? How far north do they fire? Do they fire up all the way up to Dubuque? Or do they stay down by Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, closer to Iowa City? And that will give us a great indicator as to how active our, I think, later evening is going to be. We could see some individual supercells fire in western Illinois this evening. I think most of the activity stays to the west of the Mississippi as far as tornadic potential is concerned. We did have a potential tornado. They're going to go out and investigate it today because, as far as I know, it was just radar indicated. There was never actual visual confirmation of a vortex on the ground up in Henry County and Bureau County last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was about 10:30 last night.
It was interesting because
Yeah.
Channel 31
Yeah.
had the tornado warning.
Yeah.
Channels 25 and 19 did not. They never put it up there.
Well, maybe they felt those counties aren't as close to the area.
No, it was a warning.
It was a warning. Yeah, there was a rotation that indicated
Do
just.
the TV stations go by the National Weather Service warnings, or do
Yes.
they have their own private?
No.
They call you, don't they?
No, they not.
Okay.
They have to use National Weather Service based forecast. So I learned this actually as a harsh reality. I learned when I worked at I interned at News 25 in 2003 was that station markets 50 or greater, and Peoria is like a 108 market size, have to use a National Weather Service based forecast. So even though they have meteorologists, as you can see on the live stream, I put in air quotes, on talent or on air, they have to use National Weather Service based forecast. They can't go off with their own forecast. Now they can say, well, here's what I think is going to happen, because that's fine. Anyone can say that. You can have a well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You could have a journalist say that. Well, this is why I think. This is how I feel. Blah blah blah. Whatever. But they have to use National Weather Service based forecast. And when it comes to warnings being issued, and we go in what we call severe weather session at the weather office, they have to report it. They have to pass on that message. And we work with local ESDA authorities. We work with EMS, and then the state as well. We work with the media markets, the radio stations. But the most important thing is when those warnings are issued, it immediately sends out a signal, a warning broadcast, where you used to hear it on the radio, where you'd be driving along, and then the National Weather Service in Lincoln, Illinois, has issued a tornado warning for southwest Peoria County until 8:15 p.m. Doppler radar indicated a tornado near Canton, Illinois, moving to the northeast at 35 miles an hour. Locations impacted in the neighborhood of this tornado are Tivoli, Farmington, Elmwood, Brimfield, Kickapoo, and Peoria. Please pay attention for further notice or further warning. It was all computer animated, but it was a script. It was a computer reading a script. So they have to pass on that information. So the fact that 31 and then Mr. Yates, and hats off to him, broadcast and broke in with the tornado warning coverage, because that's what generally they're supposed to do, is they're supposed to break in when there's a tornado
Well, he
warning
didn't break
issue
in.
the coverage area. He didn't break in.
No, they just had the little sign up in the corner.
So he never came on the air to talk about it?
Mm-mm.
See, that's a disservice to the people of Bureau County and Henry County. Because I believe they're supposed to break in if there's a tornado warning issue.
According to who?
Regardless of what's on.
Qualify as a whistleblower.
According,
yeah, I think so.
Well, no, that's right.
According to who? Is this a law? Or?
Yes, absolutely. It's the Federal Communications Commission and the Department of Commerce, which is the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, which is the National Weather Service. They have an agreement. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, weather wins. And maybe it's not so much a law, but it's certainly a statute, or I guess a guideline. Maybe I don't know. Maybe,
well, if it's an FCC requirement,
it's an FCC requirement. Yeah.
Hey, listen.
What?
The guy has a patch on his shirt.
I did wear the shirt,
indicating that he knows what he's
doing. It was my time at NSSL, the National Severe Storm Laboratory, Norman, Oklahoma.
There you go. So don't be like this.
Serious stuff.
Yeah, spring of 2004, I had the blessing.
That
it was really, really cool.
Very cool.
A time that I got to spend there.
Yeah. So there might have been a tornado.
There might have been. That's the thing. And the Quad Cities team will be the one, though.
Know? You said the team. What do they go out and look? How do you do it now?
I used to be part of it. So Storm Survey Team. So particularly with this location where it was, where they believe the tornado was in Henry County, eventually moved over to Bureau County. That will be the Quad City office, the Davenport office. They will go out and investigate it sometime midday today, although they have a very active day weather-wise for them.
Okay, what do they do? What did they? I mean,
so we go out
for damage, right?
Yeah, correct. We look at the damage. We look at the damage pass. We don't find any damage pass. We match up the radar signatures at the time. Then we determine, okay, there was never contact with the ground. But if some people report, hey, part of a barn is blown down, some power poles are bent over, something like that, we go out and we look at that damage. And then we determine, and corn is a great indicator of this, with the corn stalks, the direction they're blown in. If they're all blown in one direction, well, that's straight line winds. That's a microburst. That's not a tornado. If the damage is blown in all over different directions, then that tells us a vortex was at place on the surface.
You know, that's interesting, because my next question was going to be, how do you know the difference between wind damage and tornado damage.
Yeah, that's the answer. Wind damage is all blown in one direction. Yep.
Yeah.
So the
Oh,
corn
very
stalks all been
good.
facing the same direction. Yeah, well, you learn something new every day. So, yeah.
Go on TV and be aware. You know, I did have someone ask me, Kyle Warnold was so good. I think they pronounce it Warnold.
That's okay. However they pronounce it, it's fine.
Why isn't he on TV? He's so good.
I've been told that.
And I said, and my answer was because we pay him more than
That's
what
right.
they do on TV.
Absolutely.
Well, he's got that face for radio.
There you go. There you go. That's exactly what it comes down to.
Shot. He's a good look.
Says the man with no hair. But yeah.
Yeah. Getting something to bald guy.
We're doing punch shots right now. All right, Baldy. Let's have at it. No.
But
all joking
seriously,
aside, thank
Yeah,
you.
because you wanted to be also in the insurance business.
Yeah, no, it's not that I wanted to. It was what came into my lap. And honestly, and then this is no offense to the broadcast world, insurance pays better.
Oh, everything pays better.
Oh,
But you know, I'm going to go back in time.
Of
But
course.
this was a long time ago. You know what this guy used to do, and he was outstanding at it.
No.
And I had experience with the company that he worked for, and I had several of the individuals because they change so often. Because it's a tough life.
It was a tough job.
What do you think? For 20 questions, do you know the answer? Okay, so you know. But Dr. Sidler, you don't know, and you don't know. Terry, what do you think he did? He was a door-to-door guy.
Oh, I know.
Okay, then you already know. How about you,
Sold
Terry?
pots and pans.
No.
Sold chocolate bars, world famous
Well,
chocolate bars.
well,
In a way.
In a way.
I sold bars.
Gold bars?
No. Think cold.
Silver?
I
Think cold.
And the company starts with the letter B.
S.
S.
BS.
Yeah.
S.
What do you think he did?
Schwan.
Schwans, yes.
Yeah.
Were you a Schwan?
I was a Schwan man,
Yeah. Can you imagine
My
that?
wife used to buy from
And
me.
he
wife.
built his route up from almost nothing
From scratch,
to yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I chose to do that. So I was a builder for the company. So I went out and knocked on doors, did the initial cold call, and then built routes for the company, and then they turn them over. So
That's
we set it
tough
up.
sales. Good
That
for you.
is tough.
It was my first
Door-to-door
introduction to
sales.
sales.
That's
So
great.
when it was my first introduction to sales actually.
Wow.
Before
How many doors were
insurance.
slammed in your face, would you say, percentage-wise?
I percentage may only about 20-25%. Most people, especially in the Midwest, are very, very welcoming, very inviting. They'll hear what you have to say.
Here's
It's true.
the
You
problem
can't,
today.
and that's why the company
Ring
closed.
doorbells.
Yeah.
Everybody and no one will answer their door today. You can't knock
Yeah.
doors today.
You know, what is the story about the Jehovah's Witness that knocked on the door? And he said, I'm a Jehovah's Witness. And he said, well, come on in. And the guy came in and sat down. And the guy said to the Jehovah's Witness, what do you want to talk about? And he said, I don't know. No one's ever invited me before. But your experience has been pretty positive then.
Oh, I think, and when I built my route, because it was finally, I got to the point of I hated traveling, because I'd leave Monday, I'd be gone all week, up to some area up in northern Illinois or eastern Illinois, but I met so many great people, and it was just such a wonderful experience. But then it's like, I kind of want to be home every night. I want to stay with my family. So no,
What was the number one
route.
product that you sold for Schwann's?
The 502, the boneless, skinless chicken breasts, individually wrapped.
No,
They were outstanding. They're always an outstanding product. We bought them until our Schwann man went away when the company closed in November of last year.
Oh, they're no longer around?
Yeah, they shut it down.
That's interesting because their trucks would park over in Pekin.
Yeah, on Brinkman.
And I used to drive by going over to whatever the Cadillac dealer was. It's gone, and I see those trucks over there like crazy. Did the entire company close?
Yeah, the entire the Schwann's home delivery company part of it closed. Schwann's Food Corporation is still very much in play.
You do mail order? Is that what they're doing?
No. I'm sorry. I should. No, they don't do the home delivery. They don't
what
do.
Are they selling
So Red Baron Pizzas, Edwards Pies, Marie Callender. Those are all divisions of the Schwann Food Corporation.
You're kidding.
Yep.
Marie Callender pies. If you want to have a great pie.
They're in the retail.
And Edwards too, yes,
They're
absolutely,
some
very
of the
much
big
so.
retail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Red Baron pizzas, Freshetta pizzas, Yep. Those are all Schwann Food Corporation labels.
Okay, well, back to the weather.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So tonight, the setup essentially is a hot and steamy day, lots of instability. The trigger's the cold front. The cold front's coming across Iowa, fires off the storm. Storms blow up. Most of the severe stuff stays west of us. What we can expect, or what I think we'll expect, is the storm's late night arrival after most people go to bed. I think between probably 10:30 and 2:30 tonight. What I do expect to see is bowing line storms, so quasi-linear formation, those lines where they kind of bow out. So damaging winds, hail, heavy rains. The possibility for training is evident, especially with the past midnight storms, the post-midnight storms. So by training one storm after the other, while this slow-moving front moves through. The front moves through, I think, sometime tomorrow morning. After that, we're high and dry, we're in the clear. But before that, we have a potential to see. So one model is indicating 0.15 inches of rain for Peoria. Another model is indicating 0.18 or 1.89 inches, so almost 2 inches of rain. So there's definitely some model differentiation, which absolutely gives me fits when we're this close to a storm's arrival. But that's the thing.
What do you think, though?
I think we'll see the storms. Honestly, I think we'll see it as a late night, overnight event.
And how much?
I would say maybe an inch if we're lucky. So put that down. But I think winds will be the big
Put it
factor
down,
tonight.
Terry.
Winds will be the big factor tonight. I really
talk
truly
about this
believe.
Monday.
Wind will
Yeah,
be-
please do.
wind so bad down
damaging
the
winds.
hatches,
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, we're looking at explosive dynamic atmosphere. We're looking at storms that have spent themselves out as far as supercell individuality is concerned with the tornadoes and then the vortexes. But they will form lines, and by the time they get here, they'll have that bowing feature. So strong, damaging straight line winds, potential for hail, potential for maybe a QLCS spin up, which is a little tornado that spins up, or not a tornado, excuse me, because they rarely make it to the ground. But it's a rotation that spins up on the leading edge of that frontal boundary, that storm front, where because the rotation's so strong over a certain speed of knots, we have to call it as a potential tornado, even though they never, I should say never, they 99.8% of the time they do not reach the ground. The vortex does not head on a QLCS spin up formation. So that's what I'm looking at for tonight, as far as tonight's concerned. Hot day, heat indexes will be in the upper 90s today, so be prepared for that. Although it is very cold in here.
I know. I don't understand. We come in.
Yeah.
It's like they're storing meat in here. It's like
Terry actually said that when I got here. Like, why is everyone in long sleeves?
Yeah.
And now being here 15 minutes, I feel that why you're here, everyone's in long sleeves. It was very, very cold.
I've got 100 degree heat index.
Yeah,
tonight.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Because the dew points are so high with all that moisture present, especially at the surface and the mid levels, and because of the instability ahead of that frontal boundary. Now, southwest winds might be a blessing today. So we will see winds out of the southwest at 5, 10, maybe 15 miles an hour, especially as that front gets closer and that atmospheric weakening gets closer. But yeah, that's our only blessing today. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid, but it's going to be a very, very unstable atmosphere tonight with lots of convective atmospheric potential energy to fire those storms. But I think it fires in Iowa.
Tomorrow night rain too.
Tomorrow night we might see rain on the backside. I think most of the precipitation activity is cleared out by then.
All right.
Sunday.
All right. Tuesday, the
Sunday.
Heart of Illinois Fair starts.
Yeah, it's going to be hot.
And it's going to be hot. For
Yep,
the
it's going to be
fair
hot,
as
but then the
usual.
cold front comes in Tuesday night into Wednesday. We'll see showers and storms associated with that, maybe severe, especially Tuesday night. But then that cold air we talked about, I think yesterday or a couple of days ago, that unseasonably cold air, where in the upper 70s come next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right around 80 degrees, which typically climatologically is one of the warmest times of year, will actually be about 10 to 12 degrees cooler than where we should be.
That sounds like climate change to me.
Yeah, I hate that word right now. So
The northern
But I
part of
brought it up.
the northern part of the state was showing a beginning of some drought.
yeah, that's no longer a concern because of the training effect storms we saw last night. So yeah,
Yeah, they
so
got
the
like
drought
2
index.
inches.
You can see it.
in
There's still a
Chicago.
flash flood watch right now. So parts of Chicago, right near Midway, actually, on Tuesday when we got the storms that developed Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. Just outside Midway, 6.2 inches of rain. And, yeah, it's just under 2 hours time.
Midway's close to Comiskey Park, and I tuned in to watch the White Sox game last night.
Yeah.
And from the camera, you couldn't see the field
Because it was so heavy.
That was
raining.
The rain was so
Yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah,
could, but
yeah,
it looked like
yeah.
fog because it
is.
was so
Wow.
dense rain.
Yes.
they postponed it. I mean, they held it for a little while and then they canceled it
Yeah,
because they could see that was going to.
Yeah, we saw a flash flooding event, almost an emergency in Cook County and DuPage County on Tuesday night. And then
Hey, before we
again,
get too
there's some
far
climate
along,
change.
before we get too far along,
Yes, sir.
is it possible Nick might be watching in Italy? Didn't you indicate that family?
Yeah, they do
well,
watch. I mean, they might be watching right now.
Nick, we miss you.
Yeah. So no, chances are he's probably home sleeping. But yeah, so he
It
got
is now 4 p.m.
Yeah. So it's
in,
in
Italy. Yeah.
Well, that'd be unusual to sleep at 4
Did he
p.m.
get a tattoo before he left? Did
He
you
did not
take
get
advantage of
tattooed.
it?
No, I did not get that.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
We'll talk about that.
But he did enjoy the 4th of July parade in West Peoria, and he certainly enjoyed his time here.
Good.
And if his family is
Enjoy
watching,
enjoying
so
his
good.
time
Oh my
here.
gosh, absolutely.
Your family did.
It's an absolute blessing. Cannot wait till next July to go visit him. So
Yeah.
He was in the parade. He actually was.
yeah, he was. That's right.
walking.
He did walk on the parade with St.
I
Mark's.
tried to yell at him, but he didn't hear me.
Did you hear me?
I saw you.
I know. I was like,
Not only heard you, they saw you for that matter.
No,
I do want to say also, welcome the Nick Boyle family from, I believe, South Carolina, one of the Carolinas, who's arriving in the area for a few days. So welcome
Nick.
to the area. Nick,
Yeah, fantastic.
Nick Boyle.
Related
Are
to
you
Kathy?
Yes,
I had a feeling.
Son,
I know.
who he and his brother Shane served in the Iraq War.
God bless him for the
Are
service.
you taking him to lunch?
You should.
No, they've got their family thing to do.
Oh,
Very good. Very good.
Well, okay. So, what's your advice for today?
Just stay hydrated, be prepared for the heat, be prepared for the humidity, and then tonight anchor things down because I think winds will be a very big factor after 10 o'clock tonight. So
Okay, there you have it.
there we go.
And that does it for Breakfast with Roger and friends. Have a great weekend, everybody.
You too.
Remember, God loves you, and so do we. So long, everybody. Listen to the rain.